give you what you love. It's time to give you what you love. I'ma give you what you love. Give you what you love. I am sharper than a switchblade, first and last of what God made, and that's the truth. But man, keep on trying to hold me back while another chicken head come on to lose. Too strong, try to do me wrong, and the last one standing will order and command you to dance. Oh, dance. Well, tell your preacher and your teacher, I'ma give you what you love. I got to give you what you love. It's time to give you what you love.
Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. Good afternoon, Kimberly Ferris. You're the first one on here. Where is Malcolm? You beat him to the punch today on Facebook. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice or seeing my happy little face, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and I am your host on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 1 to 4 p.m. Listen, usually in the 1 o'clock hour, I spend the time talking to you guys about things that have been on my mind, and today I am departing from that just a little bit. Maybe about 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine by the name of Maria Brewer came on Facebook, and she kept talking about these junior patties, right? Junior patties, junior patties. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know nothing about no junior patties. She said, Andrea, you've got to try these patties. I'm hot, y'all. Mother's having a hot flash, unfortunately. And these things happen. So before I implode on the air, let me just go ahead and open up my jacket. So I said to her, I don't know what you're talking about. About 5 days ago, she gets back on Facebook and she says to me, I just picked up some junior patties. He had a pop-up shop, and I literally, Andrea, you got to taste these patties. I said, all right, now remember I'm Jamaican, and I have never heard of an ackee and saltfish patty. I never heard of an oxtail patty. I never heard of a jerk chicken patty. My sisters laughed me to scorn. They kept saying, all the years that Jamaicans have been making patties in different versions, how did you not know this? The reason I did not know this is that when I travel, the last thing I'm thinking about is eating a patty. And the second thing is this. There are no patties like that in Philadelphia. You can get a vegetable patty, a beef patty, and a chicken patty, as far as I knew, right? Can I just tell you, Junior himself dropped off some patties at my house about 25 minutes ago. And can I tell you, Junior, put Junior on the phone for me, please. Junior. Let me tell you something, sir. Sir.
Oh, my God.
Sir, I put out a whole video of my husband recording me. I was carrying on so badly. My husband recorded me eating these patties. They are flaky. They are delicious. They are light. And they're just the right size. I could take 4 bites of the patty would be over, right? And I had to share it with my husband. So I feel like I've been cheated. Because every time I cut into a patty, I had to share a patty with him.
Of course.
So, Junior, listen, my hat's off to you, man. My favorite two were the ackee and saltfish and the oxtail patty. I almost ate my fingers. How did you come up with this? And when did you realize that there was no market for these patties in Philadelphia?
Well, I just, in Jamaica we have Mother's, Tasty, and Juicy.
Yes.
And of course, I love patties. My favorite foods are Jamaican patties and macaroni and cheese, which I do well with all of them.
Yes.
But when sometimes I would go to ShopRite, and I don't know if I can mention specific brands, but there are some brands in ShopRite, and I'll be like, man, these are, in Jamaica, them sitting there, I fire and party that.
Right? Yes, cause them not right. Them not right, Junior. The flake not right. The crust not right. It's not flaky enough, and the meat look congealed. It don't look right.
Yeah, so I don't mean them give a pair bread them give.
Oh, so
You
that's
know,
why it doesn't
because you're
taste
putting
right.
brown in it, and
Right?
it makes it look darker. It
Yes.
mixes in with the meat. So I feel like sometimes it, of course, because it's mass produced,
Yes.
it really gives Jamaica, you know, like it's not a Jamaican patty, you know, like so.
Yeah.
I was
But they
just
put
like,
the
you
name
know,
Jamaica on it though, Junior, to make it,
exactly.
make sure we're okay with it. But Jamaicans, we know what is authentic. And so when I heard about your patties, I was like, all right, I'm going to go in between Patois and the Queen's English because not everybody's going to understand because you and I speak straight Patois, right?
Yes.
The when when I heard about your patties, I said, how good could this possibly be? A patty is a patty. My sisters almost slapped the taste out of my mouth. They were like, patty is not a patty when it comes to Jamaican patties, and you really want to taste these patties. And so they sent me a thing of Jamaican patties from mothers in Jamaica, right? And how you can make the ghetto burger by opening up a beef patty and putting lettuce, tomato, and cheese inside of it. Who ever heard of such a thing, right?
Yeah.
So I tasted your patties. First of all, I don't even want to know how you get the crust away there. Can I just say it's heaven in a bite? It is
Yes.
absolute heaven in a bite. And I feel so mad because I had to share them with my husband. So when
I'm
did
gonna
you
get you
decide?
some more. I promise.
Huh?
I'm gonna get you some more. I promise.
Oh, Junior, listen to me. Don't break promises you can't keep because mother is having a whole situation over here. I had to eat the patties before I went on the air. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to have a conversation with you. I kept pleading the blood. I kept calling on Jesus. I
Man.
kept I kept groaning and moaning like a crazy woman. When did you start the patties here in Philadelphia? What time? What month did you start doing this?
About last month. Last
Stop it,
month. Now,
Junior.
so let me
Stop it,
tell you, when
Junior.
I was
Stop
in
it.
college, I used to make them because I knew a certain time of night, you know, people would be having the munchies, and so I capitalized off of that. I said, oh, okay, and I realized, you know, my uncle used to work for Tasty, and
Mhm.
so he's the one that taught me when I was younger how to make them. So I said, you know what, this could really be something, and it did so well at college that you know, maybe about a month ago, I was just like, you know, I had a taste for some patties, and I gave my mom some of them. And, you know, and like I said, the crust, I had to learn how to master the crust because a few times when I made it, you know, the crust wasn't as great as my uncle. Like, and I had to
Right.
remember all the things that he told me. You know, put lemon juice and other little secrets and stuff
Mhm.
like into the
Mhm.
crust to get
Mhm.
it the way. And then once I mastered it, I said, you know what? I see people doing these ghost kitchens,
Right.
which is basically like they're on Uber Eats and DoorDash. I said, yo, I could really possibly. People love Jamaican food.
Yes.
But and we have a million Jamaican spots, but none of the
Yep.
patties fresh. And so I said that
Yes.
let me corner the market and let me see, you know, let me try a thing. I
Well,
said,
you try the thing because right now they're on
yeah.
Facebook listening as I am going on and on about the patties. And anybody that is a Facebook friend of mine can see this video that I posted about eating them patties. Let me just tell you, it was heaven on a stick. I'm telling you. So you only just started last month. Here are some things that and people are asking for them. So tell people how they can get the patties first of all, so that they know how to
Um,
reach.
so the plan is to put them on Uber Eats and DoorDash very shortly, but I also have a way for people to order via my social media. That's the main place where you can get me, and that's at Junior's Patties on Instagram and at Junior's Patties on Facebook.
Okay.
And then you just message me, and then so I will probably be doing some orders for Christmas, but the real start date where I'll be probably having more is probably you know, January 1st after the new year.
Okay.
And I'm still trying to get my staff together because right now it's
Yeah.
just me.
Let me tell you something.
But
So as my husband was chewing away, he said a couple of things. He's an engineer. My husband has 5 degrees, so he does marketing, he does engineering, all of that, right? One of the things he said to me was that when you set up a website, put the website information right underneath the label. You know how you have the label set up there? And
yeah,
we also want to make sure that as you're selling these patties, you save enough money to get a trademark, right? Trademark your stuff, son, and make sure you have a good LLC and all that other stuff because you've only started last month. Once people start to see this stuff, that I posted it, you're gonna have to put people on standby to help you make these patties. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Because
Yes,
everybody is going to want these patties. One of the things that I always do is before I talk about anything that anybody does, or even they're trying to sell me a book, anything, I always want to read first or try the product first. And so I put the first bite, your recipe for the crust is enough to make you want to haul off and slap the hell out of somebody. I've never had a patty crust so flaky and so soft and just right. It's the right kind of soft, the right kind of hard, it's just everything, son. And then the stuff that you put inside. The ackee and sawfish patty, I stretched my hands to Father God after I tasted that ackee and sawfish patty. So I feel like I'm all over the place because those patties are so diggity dang good. You are onto something, right? My husband says he's going to get you a copy of this book, The Campus CEO, written by his cousin, Dr. Randall Pinkett, so that you can work through your processes. And we're going to find other people to help you. I know you have people in your family that can probably help you because you're sitting on a gold mine. Do you hear what I'm saying to you?
I believe it. Yeah.
You're absolutely sitting on a gold mine. So here are my tips. You get your LLC set up properly. Make sure I have a good trademark lawyer that I'm going to send your way, which means every bit of those patties that you sell right now, at least half of your profits, you're going to have to save them, right? Okay. Save at least half of your profits, and you're going to pay to have your trademark done so that nobody can take the name Junior's Patties, right? You're going to do that first and foremost. And then we'll get the rest of the stuff set up for you. I have people that I can send your way to help you set up properly so that when you're ready, you can do things like advertise on WURD radio. You can have a whole staff of people. You can get, there's a woman down at the Enterprise Kitchen Center, and I'm thinking of her and looking at her face. The amazing Della Clark. Reach out to her so she can give you kitchen space. You know, there's a membership that you do with the Enterprise Center, and they'll and it's negligible, right? For what you're going to make from the patties, it's negligible. But they give you all the kitchen space that you want you to set up for the time that you get in there and start to make your patties. Patent your recipe. Trademark that recipe. I have never in my entire life eaten a patty that tasted as good as the one you brought into my door today. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? And that's high praise coming from me because I'm a middle-aged black woman. So I have eaten patties my whole life from the time when I was a little girl, and my father would buy patties for my sisters and I, and he would line us up, and from the youngest to the oldest, he would open up our patties, blow in them and cool them, and then close them and give them back to us, and we would just sit there and eat our tasty patties. Remember that? Yep. I am a bona fide one, child, born and raised. And so I love the fact that you stepped out of the gate and you're doing this, and we're going to find ways to support you. Now, how much are your patties? Tell the listening audience what are the cost of your patties?
Well, they vary. They're like, because they're homemade and because the quality is a little better. It's not the $2, $3 crown fried ones, but they range from like $3 to like $4 for now. Depending on, obviously, the oxtail patty is going to be more because you know how much.
Well, we know oxtails cost $100 a pound these days with their little teeth and stuff.
And so that will vary.
Yes.
And I'll probably do that and the curry goat patty by order only. But like ackee and sawfish patty, that's you're not gonna get that anywhere in Philly, the Philly area.
I agree.
So I have ackee costs a couple dollars too.
Yes.
So those are the more higher ones, and I even have a vegan patty.
Vegan patty. Oh, the callaloo patty. Okay. All right.
The callaloo patty, and I'm working on a keto patty.
A what patty?
A keto patty.
A keto patty. I don't even want to know. All right, Junior. So
all of these different things. So so the best answer is they vary based on the price of the items. But I'm fair. I'm fair with it. For right now, I'd say a beef patty is about $2.50 to $3. And like I said, it's homemade, made with love. So it's not a whole bunch of bread in there. Like
so take some more advice from me, Junior, and believe me, I've been at this for a while. Take some more advice from me. Don't make people make you feel like you have to justify what you charge for your patties. Once they taste them, they will understand why they cost what they do. There is no
Yeah.
filler in them. There's no breading and all sorts of good things. It's just good meat and a good crust, right? That those patties are made out of. And once you get up and running, you'll be able to negotiate on your own terms what the cost of those patties will be. But right now, they're worth every dime that you're charging for them. Now you know how to be a fair businessman and not to gouge people, but we all know that oxtails are now $12 a pound. Right?
Yes,
and so for
they
you
are.
to make an oxtail, right? So for you to make an oxtail patty, it's not going to be a $2 patty. And if anybody comes up to you and say, why the oxtail patty costs more, tell them, say, come see mother. Tell them to come see me, okay? So I can set them right. Because they have to understand. All right, Junior, here's my other question for you. If I want a dozen ackee and saltfish patty and a dozen oxtail patty and a dozen callaloo patty, how can I get them from you, and how do I get the money for you for them? Because those are my 3 that I really want in my freezer till Jesus comes back.
Till Jesus comes back.
Yes.
Okay, well, you would pre-order with me on my Facebook page and my Instagram, and I would need at least, for right now, at least 2 weeks' notice.
Oh, no problem.
You can cash at me or Zelle me.
Okay.
Or,
all right.
Pay me in cash, and then I'll either deliver or you can pick up.
I so believe in you. I'm going to support you by buying 3 dozen patties. Okay. I'm probably my greedy family members are probably going to want me to share.
Oh, you know they are, especially now that it's on the air and they know that you're ordering them.
Greedy, just greedy. Where did you go to school, son?
I went to Lincoln University.
You went to LU. Yes.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. Again, tell people one more time how they can reach you to place orders. Now, don't forget, I'm not getting on Instagram because I already done told you live on the air. 3 dozen patties. Callaloo.
3 dozen patties. I got
callaloo, oxtail, and what was the other one? Ackee and saltfish.
Yep, you got it. You got it. They can find me at Junior's Patties, the @ JUNIORSPATTIES on Instagram and on Facebook.
Okay. I am super proud of you, Junior. Super proud of you. I expect great things of you. I think at some point you may end up on the Shark Tank because once people taste your patties, people are going to come to you to try to buy your recipe. Let me explain something to you before you even think about doing that. Think about how much money they would make from your patties, and then times 2 or 10 or 3 or whatever. Just talk to them. I got a great lawyer to send your way anyway. Just stay in touch with me, and I'll make sure you get all that you need to do to get the business end of it set up so that you'll be okay. Because the sharks will come, and they will try to take over from you and try to sell you a song and a dance and make you think you're getting a ton of money. But I always want you to think long term, 5, 10, 15, 20-year goals, right? And we'll make sure that you're going to be all right. Put my patties aside, man. I can't. I so appreciate you. And yes, man. Make them, man. And then tell me, and I will cash app you. All right? So proud of you. So proud of you. And it's nice to know that a Yardie is enterprising and doing what he has to do. You've been 1 month out, and you've got all of social media buzzing. I had to taste those patties. Yep. You have a good one, okay? And thank you for dropping off my lunch.
Of course.
All right, sir. Bye-bye. All right. Oh, my God, that was so good. That was so good. The time is 1:22 p.m., and the temperature is 39 degrees, sponsored by The Beach Company, serving the community for 30 years. For more information, check out beachcompanies.com. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
1 month, 25 bold ideas. A more just, equitable, and prosperous Philadelphia. Join speakers like Reverend Michael Eric Dyson, MSNBC anchor Ali Velshi, LAPD Sergeant turned police reformer Cheryl Dorsey, author and poverty fighter Wes Moore, Black Thought of the Roots, and WURD's own Charles Ellison for the Philadelphia Citizens' 3rd Annual Ideas We Should Steal Festival. presented by Comcast NBC Universal, Tuesdays throughout December. Find out more and reserve your spot at thephiladelphiacitizen.org/Ideas We Should Steal Festival. For WURD members, check your email for discounts and complimentary access details. As a business owner, hiring and developing people from the community that your company serves is one of the best ways to show commitment to that community. Let WURD Radio help with Livelihood, our new initiative that connects Philadelphians with companies like yours. We'll feature your business, open employment opportunities, and resources to connect your company with talent and ensure that you reach your target demographic. To learn more about how Livelihood can help you build your team, visit wordworks.com. That's WURD works.com. Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network. The onWURD Podcast. Check out the onWURD 2020 in Black podcast series. Available now on your favorite podcast app or visit wordradio.com/2020 in Black. You can also ask your favorite device to play onWURD 2020 in Black.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I see a ton of chatter on the Facebook Live feed. So let me give you a brief synopsis of what happened. Several weeks ago, I started seeing posts on social media about these patties called junior patties. I am Jamaican by birth, and so can nobody tell me about a patty, right? And so a couple of weeks ago, I heard the same thing again. Last week, Maria Brewer tagged me on his thing, and she said, I just picked up some patties. This is so good. I said, listen, y'all, get this patty over here to me, and let's figure this out, right? Junior is doing pop-ups. He just started this business last month. Hear me. In these COVID times, if you have a skill and a talent, you can turn it into anything. Ask me how I know, right? And so he began baking these patties with the sweat of his brow on his own, fresh ingredients, right? So I heard about an ackee and saltfish patty, a oxtail patty, a callaloo patty, a curry goat patty, a curry chicken patty, and I was like, ain't no way, and a jerk chicken patty. And so I said, all right, let me try them. And I'm telling you, I am searingly honest. So if the patties were no good, I'd have been like, no star. I would have done a whole video and was like, no star, we can't do this, right? I took my first bite out of that patty and I saw God, all the angels, Jesus singing on a harp, and everything in between. The patties are so good. They're flaky. They're delicious. The fillings are authentic, so he's not just throwing any old kind of thing inside of it, right? In order for you to get his patties, you have to go on his Instagram or Facebook at Junior Patties, right, and put in an order. And so he'll do these pop-ups, and you can go to where the pop-ups are once a week, and you can pick up your patty from there. I just happened to be lucky. He brought 5 patties to me today, and I had to share them. So I literally only had 2.5 patties, right? Because my husband was standing up over me with the camera like, nah, I got to eat this. And so we decided as we were eating the patties that we're going to make sure that he gets a rolling start. Send him a great lawyer. I gave him advice on how to trademark his stuff, make sure that he had a good LLC set up, and that his recipe is so good. Hear me. His recipe is so good. As a Jamaican that is in my 50s, I have never had a patty that flaky and that good. There's going to be somebody who's going to want to take that recipe from him or get him to sell the recipe. And I'm trying to tell him from now, you are going to sell that recipe for millions of dollars if that's what you decide to do, because he may not be able to upscale it to where he needs to go for the popularity of that patty. So literally, I'm saying you and I are family. So, Malika is a man. So now I ordered 3 dozen patties. I ordered the oxtail patty, the callaloo patty. That's what you all call collard greens here, but our callaloo in Jamaica is a little different. The callaloo patty and the ackee and saltfish patties. And I ordered a dozen of each, right? But now all of a sudden I got family members. Malika saying we're family. Mike is on the other side, my technical producer, talking about you can't talk about food and not try to feed me. But these patties are really that good, really that good. And he is going to charge you between $2.50 to about $6. An oxtail patty is going to be more. Do not go to the brother and talk about you're not paying that kind of money for that patty. Oxtails are $12 a pound right now. $12 a pound, right? And so you can't expect him to put those kinds of quality ingredients in his patties and not charge you for them accordingly. So I was so happy to talk to him and to give the brother a shout out. Now, once he gets his business up and running, since he's only been open for 30 days, I fully expect him to start advertising and do Uber Eats. You know, we'll get him on WURD radio. Oh, Lord. Lord. Sandy Carrington said, excuse me over here. I know if you endorse it, it must be excellent. Sandy, go on my Facebook page and see the video of me eating these patties. Ridiculous. It was so ridiculously good. While I'm waiting for Pastor Waller to jump on the call, let me just make sure he's not on, because Michael could have texted me and said he was on. Nope, he's not on yet. I just want to, Lord. You know, getting older is not for punks. I'm trying to tell you, I was cold 2 minutes ago. Now I am feeling like a furnace in here. Two things I wanted to talk to you about yesterday, and I don't know where he is because I haven't heard from him in a while, but Dr. Eugene Williams sent me a book called Words Cross and Across that I really think should be in schools everywhere. It's like the crossword puzzles. I'm going to show it to you, right? It looks like this, and you find the words. And you mark them off. But on the next page after the words, there's a definition. He gives you the word, the definition, and a sentence and how you can put the word. And so that's great, I think, for students, especially if you're learning how to spell, especially if you want to know what the meaning of words are. Whew, I'm burning up. Lord have mercy. And so oxtail, yes, Kenrick, oxtail patty. Lord have mercy. So that was the first thing. So thank you, Dr. Eugene Williams from Washington, D.C. He calls me from D.C. all the time for letting me see that book. We're ordering a couple of them over here. The other book, which I found to be, wow, was Do Right by Me, Learning to Raise Black Children in White Spaces, written by Dr. Valerie Harrison and Dr. Catherine Peach D'Angelo. And I am on chapter 4, but I want to give you a brief synopsis of the chapters here. Knowing what you don't know. This book is not intended to add new research to the existing studies regarding the efficacy of transactional adoption, but it will make the research that has been done accessible to readers. Chapter 2 is Trapped in History, Understanding the United States Racial History, helps explain how our present is structured by racism to an extent not possible without knowing that history, and all the way up to so at chapter 4, in Living Color, at the heart of it all, our children are guided and shaped by the diverse people that comprise their community. In chapter 4, Val and I tell a story about developing friendships across race and ethnicities and how absolutely essential that is to raising a child. Dr. D'Angelo is white and Dr. Harrison is black. They were friends from working together at a university, I believe it's Temple. And when Dr. D'Angelo, who was white, adopted a little black son, this is how this book came about. They began having the conversations. It is riveting. What I am reading right now is really good. Chapter 8, The Alchemy of Intention. This final chapter is the culminating expression of what we have grown to know through these chapters. Love is simply not enough. It will take evolutionary consciousness together with an intention to protect, nurture, educate, affirm, encourage, and advocate for every child. So once I'm finished reading this book, I'm going to have Dr. Harrison and Dr. Peach D'Angelo back on the air. So, you know, I can talk to them because it's another one of those really great books. I'm telling you, I love a good read. I'm looking to see if he hasn't told me yet. I guess Pastor Waller is not on yet. So let me just keep moving. If you want to call in, 215-634-8065. I'm sorry, y'all. I still got patties on my mind. Those patties were so good. Thank God I rode for 18 miles on my bicycle this morning. Yes, Malcolm, you watched the video of me and the patties? Delicious, honey. Delicious. Mother had a good time. So what is going on in the news today? President-elect Joe Biden was the election was ratified again for the 100th time. The current president is doing what we don't know. William Barr has resigned from being Attorney General for the United States, but we saw all of this coming. And then there's this vaccine. It seems to me that the first person that got the vaccine here in the United States was a black Jamaican woman in New York. I am almost 100% certain she's from Jamaica. She's a nurse. in the healthcare industry. And so I'm following her to see what goes on. But it says how Black Philadelphians are approaching vaccine hesitancy in their communities. And this is written by WHYY.org. Trade secrets. Yes, Katora. Katora says, I'm going to send him excuse me, y'all. I'm going to send Junior to my friend Mary Lou Watson, who is a trade lawyer. She's a patent lawyer. So she'll be able to give him the intellectual property law. She was the one that helped me with all my intellectual property. And so this is good stuff. And you're right, there is a legal process, and it will take about 6 to 9 months. But once the lawyers file the intention for him, excuse me, to have that intellectual property done in writing, even though it may take 6 to 9 months, it will protect him in the meantime, right? And then you can go look at the national level, you'll see the trademark showing up. Because folks, when you have a great business plan or you have a great business name or you're doing a good business under a certain name, if they want to take your stuff, they will go and look to see if it is trademarked. It's just a simple thing of keying it in. If it doesn't pop up, they can apply for that trademark, take your business name, and take your stuff and go on and move with it because it's already been established in the general population. And that's how Black folks lose so much of their business, so much of their talent, so much of their time. So we're going to help Junior so that he doesn't get stuck there, right? Where was I? So Nina Feldman on December 14th wrote this: listening, not trying to convince, how Black Philadelphians are approaching vaccine hesitancy in their communities. Mike Pearson has jumped out of airplanes. He is trained for direct fire, close combat battles. All right, I'll take them in a minute. In Army Ranger School, he's ridden motorcycles and driven his body headfirst into linemen as a college football player. Nothing has ever scared him more than COVID-19. It's very real, said the 58-year-old Philadelphian, who has had 2 relatives die from the disease. I don't feel like I'm immune from anything. Without much else to vest hope in, Pearson looked anxiously to the development of a vaccine as a light at the end of the pandemic tunnel. At the same time, he heard a lot of hesitancy surrounding the vaccine from fellow African Americans. Pearson understood that many Black people come to their distrust of vaccines for good reasons. His mother grew up in Alabama, not far from Tuskegee, where the U.S. government infamously enrolled Black men with syphilis to study to see what would happen when the disease went untreated for years. The patients did not. All right, I will. The patients did not consent to the terms of the study and were not offered treatment even when an effective one became widely available. The Tuskegee experiment was not something you read about. It was something that affected friends and family in that area, Pearson said. We're fighting against history. Still, he felt confident that the Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccines coming to the market hadn't cut corners to get through the regulatory process. He worried that if not enough Black people get the vaccine, it would put them in even more vulnerable position than they're already in, where they are more than twice as likely to become hospitalized with COVID-19 than white people. That doesn't help any of us. And so he did the only thing he could think of to lead by example and show his faith in the process. He enrolled in the Moderna vaccine trial. It was as simple as sending a text message. From there, a nurse called him to determine his eligibility. On November 3rd, Election Day, he traveled to a clinic at a hospital of the University of Pennsylvania, where doctors and researchers spent several hours walking him through paperwork and signing legal documents. Then he was given either a dose of either mRNA, Moderna vaccine, or a placebo. He went back just before Thanksgiving for the second shot. In my mind, I think I had the placebo because it was so painless, even the injection site, he said. At the end of the day, I don't know what I got, but I can tell you it wasn't painful, nor was it extremely cumbersome. Michael Pearson is one of those people that will be put down in history as trying to move past the struggles that people of color, Black and brown people of color, have with taking vaccines or even trusting the systems. You couldn't even get us to take a flu shot, right? And so now with all of this stuff coming, we have barriers. And so the goal is not to make people feel crazy because they don't want to take the shot. The goal is to understand them and then work with them to follow the science. So Michael wanted to know, caller asked about the book titles again. The first book is called Do Right by Me: Learning to Raise Black Children in White Spaces. by Dr. Harrison and Dr. Peach D'Angelo. And the second book is called Words, Cross and Across, a word search on Barack Obama, compiled by Dr. Eugene Williams, right? And so I believe both books can be found on Amazon. If you can't find it, let me know. All right, let's see. Who's on the air from Mother? Jacob, how are you? Jacob?
Sister, how you doing, Sister Andrea? Peace be unto you.
Listen, hey, man, Mother had some patties. Jesus wept.
Hey, look, you know, if I could go to my Jamaican chicken, you gonna make me buy some things, girl? me go on there and got some now. Yeah, but, you know, now you was talking about the other patty, the jerk chicken patty and stuff like that. When you went to the oxtail, one of my Jamaican co-workers, right? We was talking about, and he was telling me about when he was in Jamaica when he was a child, right? And he said that one of his jobs was his grandmother would have him pick the ticks off of the tail before they, processed them. And I said, well, wait a minute, you had to pick ticks off of it? He said, yeah. And that turned me off with them oxtail, girl.
And now listen, they're a delicacy. They're so good. Jacob, if you have Mother's oxtails, you will call on everything. Do you hear what I'm telling you?
But you know what, Andrea? When I do go get my Jamaican stuff from up there in Jamaican, on my beans and rice, I put the oxtail gravy on it, girl. And some of them meat be on it. It's good. Hey, look, but I'll be looking out for a chick or so, But no, I don't. It's all good, But you're gonna make me get some of them patties, and you're telling them right. That's the beautiful thing. You're showing him how to patent his thing because they'll steal it, and you'll see it in every big supermarket around the country. And they'll make the money, and and that's we don't want to do it that way. When we build back, Sister Andrea, it's just like Joe Biden said, we gonna build back better, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we gonna build back better. And that's what all of the systems that failed us, we're gonna do it the right way. And about the vaccines, now by the time it gets to me, they'll be done worked out the kinks, so I'm cool.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
I will be getting it. And I was one who didn't like to get like flu shots, and at my age now, I'll get the flu shot and the pneumonia shot. Yep. And by the time it gets to me, I will be in line to get my COVID-19 shot because I want to be able to go back to the concerts and everything.
Right.
I want to go back to normal now.
Yes. Yeah, and it really is going to be towards the end of 2021 before we go back to normal if people start to do what they're supposed to do now.
Yeah.
I think folks are seeing the shot as a panacea of just continuing to do what they do because they just can take the shot. They don't. I'm just going to take a deep breath because I have talked about this and I'm learning now that you can't make people do what they don't want to do. But what I'm literally trying to do is stop more people from dying. Does that make sense?
There you go, girl. Yes, yes. Well, I'm going to say one love, girl, and keep on doing what you do, as Reverend Joe say, and I'm listening. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Jacob. Have a good one. All right? All right, so I am going to get Glenn from South Philly when I come back from the break. Want to buy black for the holidays? We have got you covered. WURD Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Jefferson Health offers no-cost COVID-19 testing sites at St. Raymond of Pinafore Church. Testing is on Thursdays and Saturdays. The second testing location has been added at Richard Allen Preparatory Charter School. Testing is on Wednesdays and Fridays. For testing hours and more information, visit jeffersonhealth.org/community testing.
This message is from the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. COVID-19 is still a threat in our communities, but we can all do something simple to help stop the spread. It's critically important to wear a mask or face covering whenever you're in public or around others. Yes, even while social distancing. Wearing a mask shows you care for yourself and your community and is essential to slowing the spread of COVID-19. So love yourself, love your neighbors, wear a mask.
WURD Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation as we continue to navigate the pandemic together.
Hi, this is Halana, your resident health and wellness coach, with tips to help you stay well. By definition, inspiration is something that gives us new and creative ideas. We often believe that we only need inspiration when we have a goal or a project in mind. However, getting inspired can be easy with a little practice. Try this. Number 1, write down exactly what you truly desire in your life. Number 2, think about solutions to hurdles and challenges you face. Number 3, think about the next best step in your current situation. Staying inspired requires thought, intention, and space to be creative. In fact, allowing inspiration to be present in our lives is something we can practice every day. Go ahead and try. Stay well with WURD. Happy living.
Stay well with WURD. Connect with us at wordradio.com. Want the latest in WURD swag? Check out the shop tab on wordradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on wordradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you are just joining us, we began the show having a conversation with Junior Johnson, who has created a line of patties called Junior's Patties. And now everybody on social media everywhere are asking where they can purchase the patties because Junior dropped 5 or 6 patties at my door just before we went on the air. And my husband recorded me just tearing them up, flaky and good. We gave him good business directive, and I think I'm going to send him to Katora, too, for the Power Up program at Community College of Philadelphia. He has begun something that I'm not sure if he'll be able to manage without having help behind him because the patties are just that good, and he's making them from scratch on his own with really no help at all. So he's taking orders through Instagram and Facebook at this point at Junior's Patties, and once you give him the order, you can come to the pop-up and pick them up. And so that's where we are. And then I discussed a gentleman, an African-American gentleman, 58 years old, who lives in Philadelphia, who sent the text to be a part of the vaccine programming here when they were looking for people for case studies. He became one. Even knowing the history of what happens with African Americans over the years, not just with history, but even today, as we were discussing doctors who just really are literally tone deaf to our needs and treat us so differently, no matter what station in life we have made it up to, whether we're poor or not so poor. They just see us as black people who shouldn't really have a voice. And it is the impetus of a piece that I wrote that I turned into the Philadelphia Sunday Sun this morning. I'm going to need to gather you all together so that when the piece hits newsstands on Friday, you understand why I wrote what I wrote and how I wrote it. I was quite intentional and very thoughtful in putting those words to paper. It's easy to spew stuff. It's quite another thing to be intentional. So let me just go on. Pastor Waller did not call in, and I'm going to have to figure out what happened to him. I hope he is okay. Wait a minute. I just saw breaking news. Okay. All right. So, yeah, written by Cherise Fraser. A black nurse was one of the first people who received the COVID-19 in New York on Monday morning. Sandra Lindsay. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about, who I believe is Jamaican. So, yeah. Let's see. Who I have on now? Glenn from South Philly. How are you, Glenn?
How you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
I just want to ask a few questions. And something that I noticed that on this particular show that recently you've been pretty much promoting to me. It sounds like the vaccine versus vitamins and herbs.
Okay. So,
wait a minute.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Vitamins and herbs have been around longer, and they've been very, very effective. So I just want to know, I'll give you a chance to respond to that.
Okay. So, Glenn, when you hear me talking about the vaccine, I am reading the news. I'm literally putting up the news and reading the news. Can I just share with you very openly and transparently that as a part of my natural heritage, I believe in the herbs and the vitamins, right? That is something that we do. What I cannot do as a radio show host and someone who has the kind of a platform that I have is to not put out what the news is giving us, to not talk about what they're saying that we should do, to not share the fact that people are dying from the vaccine. I can't tell people to take what I would take. Does that make sense?
No.
Because that's what I would personally do.
I'm not saying to promote what you do, but I know that vitamins and herbs been around longer and they've been effective, especially vitamin C. A guy by the name of Linus Pauling wrote about that years ago. D3 is very strong with this virus. The other thing I like to say is that this, as a black radio station, the black radio station should give black people options. And what I mean by options are that if the job is forcing them to take the vaccine, what option do they have to protect themselves and their job?
Gotcha.
So I like to do that right now.
Okay, gotcha.
If people go to freedomtaker.com, freedomtaker.com, it's Freedom Taker, not takers, but freedomtaker.com, they'll find 2 downloads. And those downloads will help you and assist you when they try to force the vaccination on you. You take them the paper and they hold the doctor accountable. You let the doctor read it. The doctor will assume the responsibility after he reads it for any thing that could happen wrong, and you have the right to sue because they are the administrators of that, and they have taken an oath to do no harm. So we have to give our people. We can't just promote a vaccine. We got to give people an out that want to take an out and need that out because they're scared and they don't know any better. Remember, this vaccine has not been tested even on animals. We are the test. We are the experiment. Okay, and the promotion of black people taking the test, and all our advertisements, black people, whether it be Fauci, whether it be Obama, and all that, black folks can't trust it. We got a history of them experimenting on us.
Okay, Glenn. So all the people that were in the trials that were not black people, what happened to them? We just don't. They don't count either.
No. Let me say this. The white man and the Zionists don't mind killing 3,000 of theirs to kill 50,000 of ours, and we know that. Anybody who's intelligent knows that.
Okay, so wait a minute. So Bernita Francine says that Michael Cord discussed the options for Pennsylvania. You can refuse to take it. I don't think they're forcing it on anybody, though. You have the options to take the vaccine. So it's totally up to folks.
I'm telling you right now, that's right now. But they don't put $100 billion out and more and order more vaccines for you to not take it. So that's only right now. That's only right now.
Okay. All right. All right.
So like I said, freedomtaker.com.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate your calling in. All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
You're right, Bernita. Dr. Paul Hobson is a naturopathic, and I see a naturopathic too myself that I talk to. So it's really, you're right. It's building up your immune system. We take it for granted, though, that the poorest people among us are able to go out and buy the stuff to build up the immune system. They can't even get fruit and vegetables in their own backyard. There's a food desert everywhere, right? They have to go so far to find a supermarket. It's easier to find a McDonald's or a Wendy's in our communities, right? And so when we say build up our immune system, those of us who can afford to and are able to get to the place where we can build up our stuff. I started building my things in October of last year when my father realized that this virus was in China and that it was coming. And so he told my sisters and I all the things that we need to do. I can't in good conscience sit on the radio and tell you all my naturopathic herbal things that I take to stay healthy. From October of last year up until now, we have managed to stay, my siblings, my children, everybody, because we gave them the same things to stay healthy away from this virus. And so it's up to you. It is up to you. What I have to do when I am on the air is report what I see on the news. Totally up to you. But I cannot push anything else. Dr. Ayla Stanford was on here talking about the fact that we need to take more vitamin D, we need to take echinacea, and we need to take vitamin C, right? It's a natural known fact that when winter months come around, even before winter months, too many of us don't spend enough time in the sun, and we need that natural vitamin D. So it's something that we should take. But look, it's totally up to you. Right now, the United States is not forcing the virus on anyone. I do believe the ones who will have to take it over time as they want to go to school are the children, right? College age children and elementary K through 12 children. But even that is not ready yet because they don't have enough adults tested to see the efficacy of it beyond a few million at this point. So we just have to wait, right? We just have to wait. Break-in. Russian president from Reuters, Russian President Vladimir Putin congratulated Joe Biden on his election victory shortly after the United States Electoral College handed him 306 electoral votes to President Trump's 232. Putin has held off on congratulating Biden in the days after the November 3rd election. The Kremlin issued a statement that read, Putin wished the president-elect every success and expressed confidence that Russia and the United States, which have a special responsibility for global security and stability, could, despite their differences, really help to solve the many problems and challenges facing the world. Wow. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Dietz & Watson has been making premium meats and artisan cheeses for over 80 years. And when it comes to stacking sandwiches and party platters, they've got something for everyone in the family, like maple honey turkey breast, American cheese, buffalo chicken, and more. So get to your local deli and taste 4 generations of family recipes. With Dietz & Watson on the table, you'll have everyone coming back for seconds and thirds. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
Enterprise Exterminators, located 4943 Wayne Avenue, specializing in lantern flies, termites, bed bugs, fleas, mice, and roaches. Do-it-yourself kits are available. Call now, 215-849-7070.
Listen to Laborers Live.
We created the weekend. We created the 40-hour work week. We just want enough to feed our family, be able to send our children to college, and let our next generation do better than we did.
To people that might have forgot how important unionism is in a country like the United States. People now infringing on our 8-hour work day, trying to work people more than 8 hours without overtime, trying to work people without benefits. In the long run, everybody's getting a fat paycheck except the worker. So this is really a wake-up call for America.
The struggle is continuous. Tune in to Laborers Live every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Sponsored by LESIT, the Laborers Employers Cooperation Education Trust of the Laborers District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity. Local 332, Sam Staten Jr. Business Manager. Local 57, Esteban Vera Business Manager. Local 135, Dan Woodall Jr. Business Manager. Local 413, James Harper Jr. Business Manager. The Laborers District Council, Ryan Boyer Business Manager, and Tony Staten, Executive Director of LESIT.
Monday through Thursday, keep it locked to WURD Radio. At 6 a.m., start your day with the Power Hour, hosted by Bishop Dwayne Royster and Reverend Mark Kelly Tyler. At 7, it's Wake Up with WURD with Solomon Jones. At 10 a.m., it's Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Then at 1 p.m., it's The Source, hosted by Andrea Lawful Sanders on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and the Black Women's Leadership Council on Wednesdays. At 4 p.m., it's Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Then at 7, it's Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. At 9 p.m., round up your day with Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keep your dial locked to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app. Or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. WURD Radio. Independent Black Media. The onWURD Podcast. Check out the onWURD 2020 in Black podcast series. Available now on your favorite podcast app or visit wordradio.com/2020 in black. You can also ask your favorite device to play onWURD 2020 in Black. Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. As usual, the Facebook page is lit up. Bernita Francine is requesting prayers now for her 30-plus little cousin hospitalized recently with COVID-19. Beloved wife, mother, daughter, niece, cousin, and friend of many. Her government job called her and co-workers back to the office last week. She was wary about going in, and now she's literally fighting for her life. We are beyond disbelief and distraught. Thank you in advance for your ongoing prayers. Lots going on out here. Oh, God. Bernita again says, I've recently learned that 2 sets of my family members tested positive for the virus, from babies to adults, from north to south and in between. And this is why we keep talking about this. We're giving people options on what they want to do. What I can't promote is what seems like conspiracy theories on any level, right? I just have to give you the Joseph says, Mother, Black Philadelphia City Council sold the taxpayers out of the $4 million bond. I implore you to keep your property taxes and water bills current. Wow. That same city council is coming for our property to give their developer friends. What? Okay. All right, Joseph. Send me some more information about that, please. You have my email address, alsanders@wordradio.com. Why I am thinking that what you're saying makes sense is that this is a very similar conversation that I was having around real estate. As we're buying real estate around the country, there's certain places you can buy a good piece of property. In Michigan, for instance, for under $2,000, because if the person owned their property but failed to pay their property taxes, you can buy their property by paying off the property taxes, and it's insane. Pennsylvania, we have been protected up to this point. But if what you're saying is true, Joseph, then I need to take a better look at this, right, to see how that can happen, because that's happening in other states. So it only stands to reason that it could possibly happen here. Let's just take a look and see what's going on. Bridget Powell, are you there?
I am.
How are you? So somehow in the translation, you sent your bio to Brianna, and I don't have it here. So I don't know if she hasn't seen it yet. One of her jobs is to be my content producer. She has other things going on too, so I just want to make sure. But tell us what you're on. Welcome to The Source, and tell us why you're on today, honey.
Thank you for having me, Andrea. My name is Bridget Powell, and I'm actually an aunt who is currently fighting the Department of Human Services, who refused to place my niece with fit and able relatives. And the biggest problem is she has 3 siblings, and all 3 of them are with family members. And in fact, a judge gave us custody of those siblings. So currently, this has been a 4-year battle, Andrea. And
Wait a minute, Bridget, I met you.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not only did I meet you, I had a recent conversation with Chief Defender Keir Bradford Gray about your case. Does the Public Defender's Office have your case now?
I believe so. I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Okay. So, explain to the listening audience. Now I remember you clearly, because you all made me cry like a baby that day until Sarita Martin had to call and calm me down. It's just like, this is too much. Explain to the listening audience what is going on with your niece.
My niece is currently with a non-relative, and basically what DHS is saying is that a family friend is equal to blood relative, and that's what they're standing by. In addition to them changing their story a couple times, saying that that's where her mother wanted her, but now their position is family friend is equal to blood relative, and she's been there so long that they don't just want to disrupt her. And, you know, I understand about stability, but when you're not where you belong, then why not move you? It's almost like if you're in jail and you're not actually accused of that crime, then you get free. So if my niece has been misplaced, then why not return her to where she belongs?
And if she is with, her siblings are with other relatives, why is she the one? I remember this so clearly now. Why is she the one that they continue to hold out with?
Exactly. And the problem is that her foster mother wants to adopt her, and she simply has cut off all ties with our family. We actually had to go to court and even to get the siblings to be allowed to visit her, which is only 2 hours a month. So they get 1 hour every other week in a room that's no bigger than a standard bedroom with a social worker taking notes on how they interact.
What do you think is going on here, Bridget? What aren't you are you the one that is a nurse?
So yes, I am a school nurse of 24 years. My passion is children, Andrea. I will literally fight someone over children, whether I birth them or not. I'm also a Girl Scout leader of 21 years. I have earned the highest Girl Scout award in the Girl Scouts of Eastern Pennsylvania. And when I say you got to do right by children, you got to do right by them, or I will really fight you tooth and nail. You know, I work in high school. I love high school students. Right. They are like my passion because they tell the truth.
Yes. I believe you may have some relief coming without saying too much. Something crazy, something wonky is going on here with this particular case. And because once you came on the air, I started asking questions, right? Like, what's going on? Why are these families fighting? And I learned from, and I can't, again, I have to be very careful because I don't want to compromise anyone, that a lot of what you guys said was the truth. That people go into court and they lie, right, to the judges. They lie to, you know, anybody who is willing to listen, and the families don't usually get a fair shake, and it's very difficult. And so what is your next recourse now? What are you doing next?
Right now, we're just waiting for paperwork to be reviewed. My niece is up for adoption because they actually terminated her parents' rights. Although they never abused or neglected her, the social workers from, they called it CUA, Community Umbrella Agency, went into court and under oath lied and said that the parents were not completing classes, although they had certificates. So even though the evidence was there, we have attorneys who have over 300 cases that really don't spend any time with their clients. They just go from courtroom to courtroom. So none of this evidence was ever submitted. So my niece's parent rights were terminated, and so she's up for adoption. And the same aunt who has the two brothers has to go to something called a contested adoption against this foster parent who does not even let the siblings see the child. So that's where we are right now.
How old is your niece now?
Say it again?
How old is your niece now?
My niece is 5 years old, so this has been the majority of her life misplaced. The only good thing is she does go to her visits, and she does call her brother's brother, and she does interact with them. But no one else is allowed to come to these visits. And right about now, you know, we did go to city council. We kept going into the city council hearings, and we did get a resolution passed. And there's a special committee that is examining DHS practices about the removal of children. And that's headed by Councilman David O. And then Rochelle Bilal has now joined the committee. So we actually have quite a few people who are looking into what DHS does, because at the end of the day, we all want them to provide a service, and we do need them. But, you know, when you're taking children that are not abused, or they have family members that can take care of them, and you're ignoring them, that's just not right, Andrea.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
You know, to me, if you had asked me 5 years ago, I would have said, oh my gosh, DHS really helps people. But until you experience this, you really can't imagine, because, you know, people really don't believe you when you tell them that DHS took your niece and they won't give her to you. They're like, no, that's not what they do. They help people, and they're not helping people. Cynthia Figueroa, who's the deputy mayor of Children and Families, she had the highest removal of children when she was the DHS commissioner. And to this day, she still has not met with me, although in email she told me she would meet with me. Like, how could you be the deputy mayor of Children and Families and not even communicate with family members and children in Philadelphia?
If I remember this story correctly, it so impacted me. Councilman O had a similar experience. His son got injured while in a match, and at the hospital, DHS showed up, and he had to have a serious fight with them about whether he was abusing his child or not. Correct?
That is correct, because he went in there in plain clothes, so they didn't know who he was. So yes, he, you know, they never took his child, but you know, he actually had to fight. And you know, once they realized who he was, they backed off. But the bigger problem is, you know, we're one of the poorest cities in the United States, so a lot of the children DHS take, these parents are poor, so they get these court-appointed lawyers. A lot of them are already struggling from day to day, Andrea. So they don't have the drive that I have and the passion. And they don't have the resources and the money. Like, I'm not rich, but I will pay every penny I have to every attorney that I have hired to fight this fight for my niece. And the problem is, a lot of people in Philadelphia don't have this. They're poor, they don't have the knowledge and the energy to fight them, and they don't have the money. So they take these people's children, and it's just not right.
And it's so interesting, because it's one thing if the families can't afford to take care of them and there's nowhere to send them, so you have to place them outside of a family setting. But when the family is asking for the child, that's the piece that sticks in my craw, right? What is going on here? And it feels to me like a battle of egos and wills, right? Because you dare to challenge them over this child, but this is your family member. Ah, Lord have mercy.
And then I knew I wasn't in the wrong, because during this whole battle, I had a friend who asked me to take her granddaughter as a foster parent, and they gave me her granddaughter.
So then what is the deal with your niece?
It's really a retaliation, because I really called them to the carpet, these social workers who were supposed to be in her mother's life. They were supposed to be monitoring her, and they just dropped the ball. So I had this one social worker who went into the courtroom. I mean, I read these transcripts. She's lying under oath, and no one's challenging her. So they believe that she was credible.
They believe who was credible?
The social worker.
Yes. In fact, I on the condition of anonymity, I see it, Brianna. On the condition of anonymity, I was told that yes, the social workers do come into court and lie. That the paperwork usually conflicts with what they're telling the judges in the courtroom. So you're asking, you have three asks of the system. One, to open up the courtrooms, because again, you can't get in there, right? It's just the judges, the lawyers, and who else?
And the parents. So if you're not a parent, you're not even allowed in there. They have people at the door that do not let you in. So you can't even tell the judge, here I am, judge, can you put my niece with me?
Right. So you have three asks of the system: to open the courtrooms, follow the state law, and require evidence to be submitted before a decision is made. And the third one is the one that I think is going to be the linchpin in all of this, right? If you require the evidence to be submitted before a decision is made, a social worker cannot just walk into courtroom and blatantly lie when the paperwork says something else. There's a story of another young man, and I want to talk to him, that works in the system now, who became a court lawyer and advocate because he was put in the foster care system, and he ended up going to work for the very place where the very social worker, caseworker, continues to work. And he said to her, "Do you know who I am?" And she said no. And he said, you went into court and told everybody that you were visiting me several times a month and I never once saw you. And she burst into tears, right? We have to figure out ways, and he never outed her. He never outed her. But this is happening all the time, and we have to make sure that children have the other thing that I'd like you to add to this, the fourth one, is give children a voice, right? You can't just make decisions for them, and because they're astute enough, even at the young age of 5 years old, to ask certain questions or to say, this is what's going on with me. Hold on. Oh, wow. Somebody says, Queen, the sister is telling the absolute truth. Something needs to be done about that. It's been going on well over a decade. I don't know what the solutions are. It's going to take people with a will to tackle the machinations of the system. But at the foot of it all are the babies who are suffering and the family members, and it is so difficult. But I think if we continue to have these conversations and call them out, I'm trying to get one of the judges to interview one of the judges. They can't obviously talk about cases, but I'm working now to try and interview one of the judges about how the system works at the very least, so that we can understand from our base level what that looks like. You know, what would you ask of the general public, Bridget? What would you like us to do? What can we do to support and help you?
I would like the general public to come and join us next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. We're going to have an open forum where we're going to have some invited guests. And just come in with a dialogue, and then once you hear a little bit more, we just need your support, because, you know, the children are our future, and if we're not doing right by them, then we're in trouble.
Yeah.
We're in trouble. These are angry, heartless children out here. And
then they grow up to be angry, right? And then they grow up to be angry teenagers who feel like people have abandoned them and disappointed them in ways that they just can't get it together. Next Tuesday is what date, Bridget?
December 22nd. We're going to have at 7 o'clock. If anyone is interested, they can email info@ctbrownfirm.com.
ctbrownfirm.com?
Yeah.
.com. Hold on, let me take Gary from. Hold on, Bridget. Gary, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Andrea.
You want to add something to this conversation?
I just, when I heard about the coups, I had to call because we used to audit some of those agencies, and you know, children were taken out of their homes as opposed to allowing them to be with other family members. Family members were fighting. Other family members were fighting, in some cases, to get their children, and they weren't able to. I saw mothers out there protesting, and I stopped and I would talk to them. You know, other family members wanted to take those children and care for them, and they weren't allowed to. The system is, to me, it's just like it's a racket. You're not giving resources to the families so they can take care of these children. Right. It's terrible. Terrible.
What do you think is at the base of this, Gary?
You know what is at the base of it is? This is my personal opinion. If we go back in history when Michael Nutter was mayor, I think he came up with the idea of the coup. That was a way to have an entity that wasn't really a city agency per se. Mm-hmm. And we were back then trying to break the union or whatever. So, you know, these things went out, these services went out to the coups when we have DHS, which is supposed to be handling all that. And quite frankly, some people shouldn't be in the profession. If you don't love our children and love our people, you shouldn't be a social worker.
Yes, yes.
And I've seen, you know, and I've heard the stories, and we have to call on our elected officials to straighten this out, man, because families are being destroyed. I was out there looking at mothers crying. I was at 1515 Arch. That's where I was in my building. The other corner was the family court. Mm-hmm. And I would see those mothers out there protesting, and I would stop and I would speak with them, and they would tell me their horror stories about the coups and everything else, and their children being taken away from them. I mean, this is terrible. This reminds me of modern day slavery.
It is. It's so crazy.
Yes.
And to hear people quietly having conversations around how what these mothers said on the air that day was so true. People in the highest places sat me down and said, those mothers are not lying. I see them in the courtroom. I see what's going on.
Andrea, they're not. I spoke with them many occasions. heart to heart, and it made me want to cry. I'm gonna be honest with you, straight up.
Well, it made me cry.
You know what? Cry. And we have to look at our so-called elected. This should not be happening. It's happening to black families. We're already under enough duress as it is. You have other family members that are ready to step up and help take care of their family members, and they can't even get their children, or they're placed with these different agencies, these coups.
Yes. Yeah. Does it not make you wonder what exactly is going on? It can't just be people with power and using their egos to just continue to destroy families who are literally trying to get their children. I feel like there's something huge, bigger going on behind the scenes here, and that it's only a matter of time.
Well,
it's what?
Andrew?
It's the money. It's the title fund money. If we go into their book, I'm sure they get a whole lot of money for these children. Andrea, I'm not going to lie to you.
She's right.
I got $1,400 a month for my one child. If that's what they gave me as a foster parent, can you imagine how much the state is giving DHS for these children?
Right.
Andrea, she's right.
Yes. Wow.
She's on, and it's a big old scam. It's a money. You know, people are making a lot of money at the demise of our people, Andrea.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it there.
Slavery. It's modern day slavery.
Yes, it
They're
is.
selling our kids off, and it's not acceptable. And I'm not going to stop.
You know, we got to stop letting these politicians smile and grin in our faces, and they know this is going on, and nothing's being done about it.
And the fact that Councilman David O went through something very similar, which is why he is at the forefront of this, working with them. But where are the others, you know? But for the grace of God, it could be any one of our family members. This is so insane. Why are we so stuck in doing things that are just not right on behalf of our most vulnerable children and families? How is that even okay?
You know what? People are they have an ego, and they're just cruel and evil. I can't describe it any other way. They're just wicked, mean, and evil. And we have to acknowledge that, and we have to deal with these individuals firsthand, because our families, our black families, are being destroyed. You wonder why you see all the crime you see in the street now and things going on? Hey, it's a connection.
It is. It absolutely is a connection, and they're acting like we don't know what's going on in these streets. It is. There is a connection.
You know what? It's insulting. That was before I retired. That was my job, and I would audit and review records and look at this stuff, and it just made me sick. It makes me sick.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Bridget. Keep me in touch with what's going on. Keep me posted, okay? So you're having December 22nd, Tuesday, December 22nd at 7 p.m. Open forum for people to get their voices heard. And if you want to be a part of it, do info@C as in cat, T as in Tom, B as in boy, FTM. What? Tell me that again.
C as in cat, T as in Tom, Brown the color, BROWN, firm, FIRM.com.
Oh, so CT Brown Firm.
Yes.
Okay, so it's info@ctbrownfirm.com for more information. Thank you so much, Bridget Powell. Keep me posted, and we will continue to highlight this anytime you want to talk about this, so we can keep it in the spotlight, okay?
No problem. Thank you.
All right,
so
my
much.
sister. Take it easy. All right. Bye-bye. Lord, have mercy. The time is 2:22 p.m. and the temperature is 39 degrees. Sponsored by the Beach Company, serving the community for 30 years. For more information, check out beachcompanies.com. I do realize I have other callers on the line, and Mabel Wellborn, who I'm so looking forward to having a discussion with, but we'll get to them right after these messages. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
COVID-19 affected many things this year, including regular vaccinations. Vaccines are safe, effective, and protect against serious diseases. Make sure you and your family are up to date on all vaccinations. Together, we can keep each other safe and healthy. Let's stay protected together. Get vaccinated today. For more information, visit health.pa.gov. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Hi, this is Jeff Brown from Brown's Family ShopRites and Fresh Grocers. Are you thinking about a part-time job to help out with the cost of the holidays? We have plenty of openings. You can apply online at shoprite.com/careers or freshgrocer.com/careers. Come join the Brown family today and help us serve the people of Philadelphia. Have a great holiday.
This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I had Bridget Powell on, who is the aunt that she's a school nurse for 24 years, a Girl Scout leader for 21. She's the aunt of the child in DHS placement who was separated from siblings, which is against state law. DHS has refused to put the child with the family who has her siblings, and the siblings' visits did not happen for 3 whole years. And so we've literally been trying to. The first time I heard about this, I had them on in the station. WURD radio station with me, and that was so heartbreaking. I could hardly get myself together that day. Since that conversation with them some months ago, I began having quiet conversations with judges and lawyers and social workers, and they all, say that what these families were saying was absolutely true, that they were not making this stuff up. So Bridget is back on now, still trying to figure out how to get that niece back in custody, and I do believe that the Defendants Association has taken on the case. So from what I've come to understand in my research. I tell you, Mother, I don't just sit in this air talking to your foolishness now. Let's see. Before I get Miss Mabel on, because I have plenty of time to talk to Miss Mabel because I'm so excited to have a dialogue with her. Madeline from Overbrook, are you there, darling?
Absolutely, darling. Listen, from when you started talking about the Jamaican food, then you got my mouth water, and I'm not cooking nothing else today. I'm not going to put on another pound now. That's all there's to it. But it sounds real good. Mm-hmm. So when they get ready to get that started. But let me say this. Because I'm home all day, every day, mm-hmm. I go round the dial, and I pick up the hearings that the council mm-hmm. people mm-hmm. do, and also the judges from the city, from the Commonwealth Superior Court, Supreme Court. It's a lot of interesting things going on. So to just get your little paper and pencil and go. I heard the school district one day, mm-hmm. and they were talking about the children that have some difficulties, I guess maybe within the family, mm-hmm. and then they come to school, and it comes into how they get along with the children in school. Mm-hmm. But the teachers and the children seem to think that the people that the group that works with the children, mm-hmm. how they work with them now is not as effective as it used to be, because it seems as though the people who are supposed to care for them and see that things get worked out don't seem to understand what to do to get them worked out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, and everybody knows now, it's kind of out about the judges, how they've been doing things, is black children in particular. Mm-hmm. We're being used for fodder, as usual. Really, I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. More money, because they want them in those jails. Up in the parts of Pennsylvania, mm-hmm. when they talked about manufacturing, they didn't want manufacturing. They want prison so they can watch the who children. Yeah,
but you know, this is what I don't understand, Miss Madeline. Let me stop you for a second. This is what I don't understand. Maybe I do, but cognitively, my brain cannot wrap around the fact that people could be so evil and self-serving, right?
Oh, yes, darling. Oh, wait a minute. It all comes down to one thing: greed. It's about money. And when Michael Nutter was in, he helped make it so that they could just move that money. His little town in Pennsylvania, they could vote for him because he moved that money. The house next door to me can have 4 units, apartment units. Never before, but it's a part of all of that. Greed is the main thing that has got us in the position we are. Yeah. And then we don't have enough love to give to these kids to keep them doing what we need them to do. And some of us don't know what to tell them that you need them to do, and to even be able to show them the love.
Yeah. And you know, Miss Madeline, which is why, hold on one second, which is why we, you know, I talked to Tamir Harper yesterday, who was executive director of Herb Ed, student-led organization, and they're talking about the fact that they really want Philadelphia Black student fair representation on the school board. They're asking for 2 voting folks with a 15 student committee with real seats at the table, because they're saying so much is going on in the Philadelphia school district system that is impacting them negatively.
You know what it winds up to being? Nothing. And our kids come up with 27% of them zero proficiency. That means they
zero. Oh my God! I saw that. I saw a WID listener pointed me to the page with how many children that are 0% proficient. How do you run a school and 0% of the children are proficient?
That's right.
What a massive failure that is.
It's horrible. Wait a minute. And when you try to have a conversation with them, it's like they don't know what you're talking about. And I don't know if they just do that as a sham in some cases. And in some cases, those kids are working hard. But still, if the teacher don't know, she can't teach you what she don't know.
Right.
Where's our history? Now, my plan for this is, and I tried putting it out there, but the big people don't pick it up. And number one, we need history in the schools, starting from the beginning. So our kids know what we have done and who we are. They don't even know who we are, darling. And that's the worst part of it.
I know. Thank you so much, Miss Madeline. I got to take this guest, but
tell Mabel Wellborn, God love her, because I do.
I'm getting ready to talk to her soon. That's who I'm trying to get to now. Thank you so much, Miss Madeline. Thank you for calling in. All right. Bye-bye. Woody. Hi, sir.
Listen, I always know you're busy today. Everybody's got my mommy, and I'm telling you, stretching her from one end to the other. So I just want you to know that I still love my mommy. Can't stop loving her because
Woody, where is Miss Mary? Do you talk to Miss Mary? I haven't heard from Miss Mary in a few days. Is she okay?
I haven't either. That's one of the things I don't understand. When I don't hear of someone, it always makes me question. So don't worry, you put it out in the air, it's going to come back. I wanted to say to you that article that I told you about when Donald Trump mentioned what he said, and that schools are all messed up, can't get money from your banks, gentrified out your neighborhoods. Those are the 3 points that I've been saying for the longest time, because after slavery, the spirit never stopped. So when you ask these questions as an immigrant, see, you're from Jamaica. I keep saying that to you so you can't see. How could somebody do this? Is evil. Well, guess what? It's the same thing. Never teach the slave to read for 400 years, and you tell me that's going to dissipate in just a couple hundred years later? No, it can't disappear, because the spirit of this country is what's causing our problem. The slave was forever, chattel slaves, never to be free. See, indentured slaves could be free after they pay their debt, but chattel slaves were to be owned.
Okay, but we are in 2020,
that doesn't
and
matter.
so much of that stuff is still. Hold on one second, Woody. So much of that stuff is still going on, right? 0% proficient in schools. I find it unconscionable that children are ending up in the Department of Human Services systems, where they're being sent off to places unknown or to people that are not family members who want to work with them, right?
But
and
see,
so much that is.
The prisons, musical chairs of recidivism. It's happening to the children and to the adults of the children of former chattel slaves living in America today. That's why that office, go back there again,
All right,
so
but come on now, Woody. Let's be clear, Woody. Even if the mayor of Philadelphia puts an office there, what are the chances of them even doing anything with that office other than put an office there?
The spirit of the people that understand what happened to the children of the former chattel slaves would be there. Those who are from different countries want to know as well as you right now. It is information you are hungry for, but they never fed it to you because they are hiding it from the world. We need to tell the story. Us.
So why can't we tell the story without it being an office in the mayor's office?
You want to make this the office. Come to the barbershop. I'll make it the office.
Well, there you go. Now you're talking my language, right? Let's do it. Let's figure out, put the history in the barbershop, get the people there, teach them what they need to know. Because if we're sitting around waiting for the mayor's office to do this work, it's never going to happen.
You don't wait for the mayor. What you do is compare. Why do you have an office for LGBT? Why do you have an office for immigrants? Why do you have an office for other cultures and you identify their problems? Why is our problems not identified? You know why?
Okay, so
because
let's just say for this,
you're the child slave.
I am not disagreeing with you, Woody, not even a little bit. But what I'm saying to you is all the time that we spend fighting with them for that office, we can get so much done.
I'm not going to spend time fighting for them. I put the word out there. The word is not a book. The word is God. Remember, God is the word. Evil can't not beat what is positive. Positive energy is a negative energy deterrent. That's the universal law. Understanding that law, Andrea, makes you who you are today. That's why you know that this is a form of evil. And the brother that sent you the information, Brother Hars, my hat's tipped off to him because he follows up on all that information. I talk about Mother all the time. I was on the radio with Brother Lloyd Manley, and Manley was talking about you on Saturday night. So that's my good friend, and he loves you too. So you keep doing the work you're doing because God is in there. He's in you, making you do these things and seeing that it's evil. And the opposite of evil is good. So you keep fighting because it's wrong.
All right. Thank you, Woody. Go check on Miss Mary for me, please. Make sure Miss Mary is okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, my brother. All right. Bye-bye. Oh, my Lord. All right. Let me get to Miss Mabel because she is someone that I so love talking to, and I don't get to talk to her as much. Mabel Wellborn is the board chair of the Leon H. Sullivan Charitable Trust. She's a retired human resources management executive. She's been involved in every initiative that evolved out of the 1036 plan when she was recruited to work with Zion Investment Associates and Zion Nonprofit Charitable Trust. Her bio is ridiculously long, so I'm not even going to go all the way through it. Miss Wellborn, are you there?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Thank you so much for your patience. You know, I said to you, I made a promise. I tried to be a woman of my word that at least once a month we would have someone on here talking about Leon H. Sullivan, his principal, Dr. Leon H. Sullivan, his principles, the 1036 plan. And when you heard me, did you hear me talking to Junius, the guy that created the patties that he started last month?
I did not hear because I've not been able to listen today. I'm in the office today because I'm preparing for board meeting this evening.
Yes.
But I did hear you raving about patties, and that's all I heard was the rave about patties.
So it's a gentleman who just graduated from Lincoln University who took a recipe, a Jamaican patty recipe that he had, which really is the crust has to be right, and he filled it with oxtails and curry goat and all sorts of great things, right? And he started selling them last month in Philadelphia, and they are a hit. Right? And all I could think of was Dr. Leon H. Sullivan and how he taught us to use the skills that we have to create wealth, right? Generational wealth. That, you know, some of the wealthiest people did not go to school. They just had a skill, and then they became great business owners by utilizing what they made and putting it back into the business, right?
Absolutely.
So talk to us about, and Michael, tell Margaret from line 2 to hold on for me, please. Let me just talk to Ms. Wellborn for a little bit because I've been promising to have this conversation. Tell us a little bit about why you are sitting as with the wait a minute. So you're an administrative assistant. Let me just, because your bio is ridiculous.
I am a full-time volunteer.
Yes.
As board chair for the Leon H. Sullivan Charitable Trust.
Board chair.
For the past 10 years, until March of this year, I volunteered my time to fill in for an executive director.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a part of the Sullivan organization since 1966.
Wow.
When I joined the organization as an administrative assistant for an OIC program.
Mm-hmm.
And I was recruited from that program after 3 months to join the Zion Investment Associates and Zion Nonprofit Charitable Trust because we were getting ready to automate the 1036 plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was in 1966, and the 1036 plan, excuse me, was started, I think, in 1962.
Mm-hmm.
The Declaration of Trust for the Leon H. Sullivan Charitable Trust was issued December 1966.
Mm-hmm.
So I came to the organization in 66. I left as an employee in 76 to go to corporate America, and I promised Dr. Sullivan that I would come back to the organization when I could make a greater contribution. Well, I was hired by the Vice President of Human Resources Management for a Fortune 500 company in Valley Forge. He wrote to that vice president, or the vice president wrote to Dr. Sullivan and said, whenever you need her to come back, we will make sure that she's available.
Oh, wow.
Dr. Sullivan called me in 1981 and asked me to come and serve as the secretary-treasurer for the trust.
Mm-hmm.
And unbeknownst to me, I was secretary-treasurer from 81 on. Mm-hmm. Unbeknownst to me, when he was getting ready to leave the organization to go to Arizona, and Hillary Holloway was appointed chair.
Wait a minute. Did you say Hillary Holloway?
Senior.
Hip?
Yes, HIP.
Are you talking about the Kappa?
Yes, I am.
Can I tell you he was my very first mentor?
Really? Well, I served as Dr. Sullivan asked Hillary to appoint me as his vice chair. So when Hillary passed in 2001, yes. I believe, I became the chair.
He passed it just a few years ago. He
yes.
Not 2001, 2011. I can't remember now.
That was Junior.
Oh, that was Junior that just
yes.
passed. Oh,
yes.
Lord. Junior is
yes.
the one that was my mentor.
Yes. Hillary Senior was a mentor for me because he was board chair, and I was his vice chair, and so when he passed, I became the chair. And so, did you start to say something?
No, I'm listening to you.
So the Sullivan Trust, it was renamed Leon H. Sullivan Charitable Trust in 2007 to honor our founder. The original name was Zion Nonprofit Charitable Trust. So I've been in the trenches of the organization from 66 to 76, and then working at a different level and contributing to the organization from the board level from 81 on. Mm-hmm. And so today, the trust owns and operates the Leon H. Sullivan Human Services Center, which is a 67,000 square foot office building that sits next door to Progress Plaza. Mm-hmm. When I became the chair in 2001, the trust, the facility itself, the center, was not occupied, fully occupied. We now have a 90% occupancy at the Sullivan Human Services Center. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm rambling a little bit,
yes.
but the center was dedicated in 1978 to be a one-stop service center for human services for the community. The tenants at that time were Social Security Administration, the Labor Department, the Philadelphia Police Academy. And over the years, the tenant base has changed. So today, we have 12 tenants here that are the providers of social and human services for the community. The building is 90% occupied, and the reason they're here is because of the service they provide. Their preference for being here is because it's affordable, it's below market rent rate. Mm-hmm. And so every day we're in the building making services available to the community. The tenant base includes Philadelphia Youth Network, Temple University, Credence Home Care, Unite Here, Campaign for Working Families, Spectrum Health. So we're a full-service center. Why am I here? Because it was a responsibility that was left to me by the founder of the organization, and I accept that responsibility because it is through us that the legacy will live on.
Okay. Hold on one second, Ms. Wellborn. Let me take a quick break. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Step by Step Home Care Professionals is one of Philadelphia's fastest growing Black-owned home care employers, and they are hiring. If you are a caring, nurturing, and compassionate person who enjoys helping people in need, Step by Step Home Care Professionals is looking to hire you. Go to sbshome.care to complete an employment application. That's sbshome.care, or call 610-321-3108 for more information and ask for Monet. Step by Step Home Care Professionals is hiring today.
PECO is here to help this winter. With LIHEAP, you can get up to a $1,000 cash grant towards your PECO bill. You don't have to be behind on your bill to qualify, and you'll never have to pay it back. Even a family of 4 with an annual income of $40,000 is eligible. So don't count yourself out. This deal is first come, first served, so apply now at PECO.com/LIHEAP or call 800-34-HELP4. That's 800-34-HELP4.
Power tax, yeah. All right. Power tax, yeah. Greetings, my people. This is Stephen Hutchinson, owner of Power Tax Ltd. We do your taxes accurately, expertly, and get your refund immediately. And we answer your questions and explain what's going on in your tax return to increase your financial literacy. We are mobile, so we can come to you. So come to Power Tax. Call now, 610-955-6508, 610-955-6508, and get your questions answered. Come to Power Tax and be powerful.
Want to buy black for the holidays? WURD Radio has got you covered. WURD is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Visit WURDradio.com/marketplace or WURDworks.com/marketplace.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you are just joining us, I have the incomparable Mabel Wellborn on from the Leon Sullivan, H. Sullivan Trust, Charitable Trust. And so, Miss Wellborn, you know, if it is at all possible, that's the Jamaican in me, I'm trying to rumble over my words. If it is at all possible, can we have someone on here once a month talking about the legacy of Dr. Leon H. Sullivan and the 1036 plan for the people who are brand new to this and have never heard his name? What is the 1036 plan, Ms. Wellborn?
The 1036 plan came out of the parable of the fish and the loaves. Dr. Sullivan preached a sermon to his congregants at Zion Baptist Church one Sunday, and he asked the congregants to join him in a venture of faith. He wanted them to pay $10 a month for 36 months, hence 1036. The first 16 payments, or $160, would be a tax-deductible contribution to a nonprofit, because the concept, the philosophy of his was, we need to show that we know how to give before we ask. So the first $160 is the seed money that created the trust. The other $200 would buy a share of stock in Zion Investment Associates. Now, the name Zion Investment Associates was changed because when we began to file with the Securities and Exchange Commission, we could not use the name Zion, so it was changed to Progress. Zion Nonprofit Charitable Trust did not have to be changed because it was declared a trust with the 501c3 status with IRS. So it remained Zion Nonprofit Charitable Trust. Dr. Sullivan's philosophy was, if we have money that we own, then we can go and ask for money to do other things. The first, I think one of the most impactful reactions to that was when he wanted to do Progress Plaza and he went to the Ford Foundation. The Ford Foundation gave the trust a $400,000 grant, and the only requirement was that we would build a school to, quote, teach Negroes how to become entrepreneurs. So that was some of the seed money that helped to build Progress Plaza, because the Entrepreneurial Development Training Center was there at Progress Plaza. Another thing that came out of the 1036 plan was, because we have proven that we can save, then we go ask. Zion Gardens, the apartment buildings over in Girard Avenue between 10th and 12th, was built by Zion Nonprofit Corporation, another entity, because we had seed money that came out of the 1036 plan. So if you look at the 1036 plan having a profit and a nonprofit component, the visual would be the for-profit is Progress Plaza. That belongs to Zion Investment Associates. The nonprofit, which is Zion Nonprofit Charitable Trust, now the Leon H. Sullivan Charitable Trust, we own the office building next door. The trust is also an equal partner in a shopping center in West Philadelphia, Progress Haddington Plaza. The revenue generated from Progress Haddington Plaza is what allows us to underwrite the common area cost that keeps the rent below market for the tenants at the Sullivan Human Services Center. So all of that is following the concept that Dr. Sullivan laid for us, that we can have, we can own, we just need to know how to do it. Is that making sense?
It makes perfect sense. I had his daughter on, Dr. Sullivan's daughter on, and she was the one that, Hope, yes, and Hope was the one, because the first time I heard about the 1036 plan, I laughed and I said, just tongue-in-cheek, that it sounded like a Jamaican partner, which is very similar to what we do, right? We get 10 or 15 people together. They don't go to the bank. We put all this, each person puts in 10 or 15 or whatever dollars, and every week you get your draw, and when you get your draw, you decide if you want to invest that money into something else, da-da-da-da. Hope then gets on the air. She calls me before she gets on the air, and she says her grandmother, the woman that raised him, was Jamaican, and she taught him those principles. He then turned it into and called it the 1036 plan. I'm saying this to you, Ms. Wellborn, because what stops us today in 2020 from continuing a plan similar to this, even if we don't want to call it the 1036 plan? Because quite frankly, the immigrants that live here, the Jamaicans, the Trinidadians call it the Susu, the Jamaicans call it the partner. In different parts of Africa, they call it something else. They do something very similar. They're not going to the bank to put their money where they're only getting 0% interest, right? They're putting their monies together and really working on building a legacy, right? We understand what that looks like. And so what stops us now now that we have the Sullivan Plaza, the Progress Plaza, and the Sullivan Human Service Center, and we understand that this works, it works beautifully. What stops us now from continuing this legacy by creating more of a 1036 plan where people put in $10, right? every week for 36 weeks, and some of that money goes in. Like, you have to come up with another entity that will do this, is what I'm saying. I want you on here so that people can hear what is possible. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. There is nothing that stops except the will or the initiative put forth by somebody to do it. I think what people, excuse me, often I hear people refer to crowdfunding as a modern-day concept of the 1036 plan. It's the same similar concept, I should say, except that the 1036 plan became two legal entities, the trust and the investment associate.
Right. What advice would you have for people who wanted to start, not something to that large scale, but, you know, I would love to see the WURD listeners, like, you know, Woody and them. There's a group of them that all talk to each other. If they all put $10 together and started a little trust, right? $10 a week for 36 weeks and start their nonprofit from that, and then move into the, you know, the for-profit side, save their money. Like, this can be done. I constantly want to have that dialogue so that people can understand that you don't have to save $1,000. You can save as little as $1 a week if that's what you want to do. Just be consistent in continuing to save. What advice do you have for people who want to do this but think that they can't, Ms. Wellborn?
It certainly can be done. There are a number of financial advisors. There are people who have started investment clubs and things like that. The only thing I think that might be, some people might consider it a hindrance, is there are some legal ramifications for doing something like this. When Dr. Sullivan started the 1036 plan, people were bringing their $10 a month to people in the church who were managing the program for him. Until when I came on board in 66, we were beginning to standardize and issue receipts, and Philadelphia Savings Fund Society was helping us with that administration. There are so many, how do I want to say this? There are so many situations where people try to do things like this, and sometimes the motive is not right.
Right.
If that makes sense.
So you're right.
Get a group of people together and you say, hey, everybody put up $10 a month and this is what we're going to do. Well, there needs to be an organization in place. There needs to be some legitimate, something legalized to show that, yes, I'm paying my money and this is what I will expect, but that needs to be done legally today. So anybody who wants to know more about the concept of the 1036 plan, the trust is interested in teaching as much as possible. One of the things that we're concerned with, because a part of the mission of the trust is community and economic empowerment. I know this might not be on the subject right now, but we have a concern for what I hear some people, and I kind of appreciate this lingo, neighborhood deportation. And so there is a concern that people who have invested in homes in the areas that are going through a lot of redevelopment or gentrification right now, those homeowners need to know how to hold on to their homes.
Yes.
So one of the things that the trust is looking into is, we did this before when we could bring people in-house to teach them about home ownership, how to pass their properties and their assets on to their children and grandchildren, et cetera. So we're going to be gearing up to do those virtual sessions. And who knows, maybe how to start a 1036 plan, maybe one of them. So, and we're open to ideas.
Okay.
We're open to ideas because at the end of the day, our objective is to make sure that the legacy of Dr. Sullivan lives on. Yes. And so anybody who wants to know more about the trust, we do have a website, sullivantrust.org.
sullivantrust.org.
We're here in the office at 215 684 3400.
3400. I'm running long, so I have to bid you adieu. But I want to thank you.
And the email address is mwellborn at sullivantrust.org.
At sullivantrust.org.
And we'll talk Jamaica off air.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So listen, sullivantrust.org, 215-684-3400. And if you want to email them, mwellborn at sullivantrust.org. Ms. Wellborn, I just want to thank you so much. I find you to be such a wise woman, and I love talking to you. I have to go now because I have another guest coming on, but I look forward to catching up with you next month or anyone else that you send my way to talk about Dr. Leon H. Sullivan. Have a good one, okay?
Thank you very much, and thanks for the invitation.
Oh, you're quite welcome, madam. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Want to buy black for the holidays? We have got you covered. WURD Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Supports local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
What's up, Philly? It's Solomon Jones. The school year is underway, but never before has that experience come in so many shapes and sizes. Is the education of your child being left to a smattering of clumsy, in-person, and virtual instruction? The COVID-19 crisis has created a market for untested virtual teaching models lacking true credibility. Maybe it's time to reconsider and check out Commonwealth Charter Academy. Here are the benefits to your family. 1. An online education provided at no cost to you, complete with laptop, headset, and help with internet access. 2. Partnership with the market leader in cyber education with a nearly 20-year track record of world-class learning. 3. Delivery of a safe, reliable, and comfortable education experience over the internet directly to the confines of your living room. Visit ccaeducate.me today and discover the gold standard of cyber education. That's ccaeducate.me.
This message is from the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. COVID-19 is still a threat in our communities, but we can all do something simple to help stop the spread. It's critically important to wear a mask or face covering whenever you're in public or around others. Yes, even while social distancing. Wearing a mask shows you care for yourself and your community and is essential to slowing the spread of COVID-19. So love yourself, love your neighbors, wear a mask.
Monday through Thursday, keep it locked to WURD Radio. At 6 a.m., start your day with the Power Hour, hosted by Bishop Dwayne Royster and Reverend Mark Kelly Tyler. At 7, it's Wake Up with WURD with Solomon Jones. At 10 a.m., it's Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Then at 1 p.m., it's The Source, hosted by Andrea Lawful Sanders on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and the Black Women's Leadership Council on Wednesdays. At 4 p.m., it's Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Then at 7, it's Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. At 9 p.m., round up your day with Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keep your dial locked to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app. Or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. WURD Radio. Independent Black Media. Wishing you and yours the very best this holiday season from the entire WURD family. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app. Progressive and proud. Independent Black Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Can someone check in for me on Miss Mary, see how she's doing? Miss Mary usually calls every week, and it's sitting in my soul that we have not heard from her at all. Usually she's calling to tell us about something, give us some more information, or fuss about something. Somebody find Miss Mary and make sure she's okay, please. In these here coronavirus times and with all the shenanigans that are happening in the country. I want to make sure that our citizens, especially in Philadelphia, local to Philadelphia, who have been around for a long time, are okay. All right, so if you're just joining us, I had Mabel Wellborn, who is the board chair of the Leon H. Sullivan Charitable Trust, where she talked about the 1036 plan, the work and efficacy of what Dr. Leon H. Sullivan did over the years, and how the legacy that he has left continues to carry on. I am very deliberate about having someone from the Leon H. Sullivan Charitable Trust on, or from Progress Plaza on, only because there are ways that we can create generational wealth on our own through entrepreneurship. Nowhere was that better acknowledged, was at the beginning of the show today, when a young man by the name of Junior, who graduated from Lincoln University, started a Jamaican patty making business and dropped some patties at my door at 12:35 this afternoon. What I put in my mouth let me know that Junior is going to be a millionaire many times over if we can get this business off the ground for him in a way that people will not try to shaft him, shank him, and everything else in between, because when you taste these patties, you understand that he's onto something here. And that's part of the Leon H. Sullivan principle, using what you've got to make what you want, and to get him to a place where he can either do a nonprofit, put the money back into the business for the first several months to a year. It literally, and let me be very frank with all of you, as someone who has businesses of my own, that it takes about $10,000 to really get a good business off the ground. And that's just being, conservatively. So most people don't have $10,000 to put aside. And so what you want to do is, as you make money in your business, you start to put away a little bit here, a little bit there. Let it be your own personal 1036 plan, where you're going, every time I make $20 in my business, I'm putting $10 away. $10 away that'll go towards getting your intellectual property registered with the United States government. $10 that goes into making sure you have a good, solid business bank account, that you have a good, solid business accountant. All of those things make all the difference in the world, so that your business can stay afloat and you don't have to worry about people coming and stealing things from right underneath you. Why I say $10 a month is simply this. I'm sorry, $10 a week or $5 a week or whatever, is simply this. Oftentimes when African Americans, black and brown people, go to the bank for loans, they can't get them. If you can show a bank that you're able to put aside a certain amount of money, able to build a certain amount of credit by paying your bills on time, you'll be able to have access to those kinds of things. And then you'll be able to free up some of your other cash on the other side. I'm trying to teach us how to fish instead of constantly calling and fussing about what we don't have and what we should have, right? There are things that are right in front of us that we can do over and again. And if we are smart about it, the doors that will open up will blow your minds, right? If you learn how to hold on to what you have, to continue to invest in what you want to do without buying the red bottom shoes and the houses that we can't afford right now, and put that money into investing it into different things, you will build generational wealth. Not just wealth enough for you to leave a life insurance policy for your children, but wealth enough for your children's children. And that's how folks have been doing it. We, as black and the brown community, have been cheated so much out of our legacies that we're way behind the 8 ball, but there are ways that we can do it. Junior's Patties is one of those ways. So what is it that you're good at? What is it that you're good at that can generate income that you don't have to spend that kind of money, right? That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. And so we have to also, as a people, work on our traumas and work on ourselves so that we don't feel the need to have our name brand everything in order to feel like we have arrived, right? The richest people around you don't have a name brand anything on their backs. The richest people around you that are CEOs of banks and things like that drive little cars, When I go into some of the richest neighborhoods where the houses are huge, they're driving little old cars because they understand that cars depreciate, but the houses don't, right? And so they would pay their property taxes and do what they have to do. Those are the things that I am talking about every single time I come on the air. So for me, the source is all about giving you credible guests to talk to you about what you can do to move forward and to give you the solutions. And so Junior was just one example of what is possible for us, by us, I love you all. Some of you I've never met before. Some of you I probably will never meet, right? If you see me on the street, some of you saw me on the Wissahickon Trail, either on my bicycle or hiking up into mountains, and you recognize my voice and you said hello. Peace and love to all of you, right? The goal is to give you the tools to move forward and get what you need to have done. Are we going to cry? Are we going to struggle? Are you going to find days where you're like, I can't do this? Yes. Nothing that is worth your having doesn't come without a struggle, right? So we have to learn to be, Joseph said it. Susan L. Taylor said the same thing. If it's on your behind, it's not an asset. So again, I love clothes, right? I don't buy clothes out of the stores. I tell you all this all the time. Gaffney's fabric store down the street here on Germantown Avenue, right up the street from Uncle Bobby's, or the clothing are the fabric stores that are black and brown owned in New York City in Fabric Row. I go, I find the fabric that's on sale. I design my own piece, give it to a black person to create it, and as a direct result, have not only made things for myself for little and no cost. I am now selling what I make. People ask me to design things for them, and I design stuff for them. So there's another source of income. Like, you all have to look at things not just as slapping things on your bodies, but how am I going to make some sort of funding from it, to not just to spend, but to put it aside to help to continue to create the legacy. Look into buying penny stocks. Anybody that has made it from small beginnings from humble beginnings to where they are have always said they started from somewhere small. And so don't look at people who have made it and have left a legacy behind. Those people worked hard to make sure that they left those legacies for their children and their grandchildren. And what they can only hope is that their children and grandchildren are not going to take that legacy and use it as a tool to destroy people, but to continue to help and to pass the legacy on. And so we got to teach our children, as we're building, we got to teach our children to how to fish, right? Not just to give them fish. And so I'm excited. I am hoping, and I don't hear from Michael unless Michael has texted me in. Oh, all right. Maurice, how are you, sir?
Mother.
Child, now let me tell you something.
Stop calling me Woody.
Maurice, I didn't call you Woody. I said Maurice.
The last couple of times when the conversation ends, you say, see you later, Woody.
But that's because you keep hanging up on me. Now stop hanging up on me, and maybe I'll call you Maurice.
That's all because we all call you. We like all big family.
Do you know what?
Mind. You show me honor by calling me Woody. I respect Woody a lot,
All right. How are you, Maurice, darling? What can Mother do
Woody,
for you today?
I respect George. I respect them all. Prince. They're all my people.
Did you see people fussing at George yesterday when he called in?
George makes a whole lot of sense, man. Me and George used to be mortal enemies on the radio. We used to go at each other.
Really?
Yeah, but you know what? One time we just decided to sit down and talk, and we found out we had so much more in common than we had apart. And we actually thought alike, but we were coming from two different angles. So me and him, we try to tag team you sometimes on the radio. Yeah, I mean, me and George come from the same cloth, man. Yeah, I'm telling you. So look, this is what I'm trying to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
People got to understand. I hear Woody with he wants that office, but the problem is he got to understand. The white man is not trying to educate us. He's not going to give us his office, and we don't want them controlling us. If we're going to do it, we have to do it ourselves. How Jews got B'nai B'rith, that's how we're going to have to get that office from our own wealth and our own money. We can go out and get Democrats and Republicans and private business owners to fund that, but we just got to ask them. We just can't be thinking the government does everything.
Right.
Because I've made plenty of moves across all through the state from some of the racist people in the state of Pennsylvania have backed me. Call me every day. I talk to them every day. But you know what? It's how you sit down at the table. So when you hear
Come on. There you go, Maurice.
When you hear George talking about sitting down at the table with the FOP, he's making plenty of sense because they're not going anywhere. So we're going to have to deal with them sooner or later. We don't have to be friends. When I worked at Graterford Prison, me and the guards were best friends at the jail. But guess what? When we hit that gate, I went to the city, they went upstate. They don't want me up there. I don't want them down there. But when we get back at the jail, we're back to being best friends again until the clock hits, and then we go on our separate ways. And that's how it works. It's getting Yeah, you ever hear of a guy called Clarence Avant?
No. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Let me tell you how I heard about him. Hold on, the Godfather of Harlem. So I was in New York. Listen, Maurice, listen. I was in New York City and got a call to go onto Netflix and watch The Godfather of Harlem. And the person that reached out to me said, I had to laugh. They said, most people don't know this about you, but you are exactly who he is. Folks don't know. He was so quiet behind the scenes doing certain things. And in fact, Maurice, until I got onto this radio show, most people couldn't tell you what I did for a living. Because there are ways to handle it. You have to learn how to negotiate, right? You can't cut just everybody off. And so when we say, when you've developed a reputation for being having integrity and doing what is right, well, you can make a phone call and people will take that phone call and do what needs to be done, right? But if you are someone who are just always all over the place, skinning and grinning and nope, Charles, amazing gentleman, amazing. I watched that thing and I cracked up laughing because that is exactly how it's supposed to be done. We cannot spend so much time fussing and complaining and really not doing the real work behind the scenes to get things done. Does that make sense?
Listen, I'm with you 100%. That's why I'm trying to tell people when I explain to them about when I have a problem with this city, I try to explain it to them in the simplest terms. People got to understand every time city council spends money, that's our money. That's not their money. That's our money. So let's not be so detached and say, let them do what they got to do and think about it later. We need to go at them like they actually in our pocket pulling the money out because that's exactly what they doing. So
what do you propose as a solution?
As a solution is we need to be more on top of them. If they don't do the job, which we know they don't keep re-electing the same people. At one time, a group of people, I'm not going to say their names, said, once we get a whole lot of black people on city council, we're going to start doing things. And I had told them that day, I said, all they're going to do is fold right back into what the other ones is doing because this is not new blood. These guys that you re-elected or put in their place are disciples of the same people. We need fresh blood. I actually believe that we had more of a white city council. I hate to say this, it's coming out my mouth. We would actually get something because like George says, white people got to give you something.
So, but let me ask you this. Remember me saying to you guys, hold on, Maurice, hold on. Remember my saying to you guys last week or the week before that you are to start molding people who can run for city council instead of just fussing at city council?
Yes.
Have you found anybody you want to mentor and mold, Maurice?
Listen, I've been making calls to Lamont Hill and asking him to run for mayor because we need to start picking. He may not be the guy. But we got to start picking now, not waiting 6 months before the election talking about we need somebody. We need to start putting our money away, our ideas away. Like when we say we want reparations, right? Do we actually even have plans if they was to give us money right now? Will we just give it right back to the white man, or will we actually build a new land, a new future for black people? We got to have a plan for this money. We just can't say, give us a check and we happy. No, we got to know what to do with it.
Yeah,
and that's the problem.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Maurice. Go check on Miss Mary and make sure she's okay for me, please.
Today?
I mean, we haven't heard from her, so just make sure she's okay.
I said today.
What? Can you do it today, Maurice?
As soon as I hang up.
All right. Thank you. Bye, honey.
Thank you. Right.
Bye. Oh, my gosh. She actually said goodbye. All right. So before I get on the line with benediction, let me just respond to Kenrick. Kenrick Jr. does not have a website. He just started selling his patties last month. So if you go to @Junior's Patties on Facebook and put in an order, he has pop-up shops, and he'll be able to get you'll be able to go get the patties from him. But yes, he does have oxtail patties. Somebody else wrote, and I can't see if I have to can figure out where they said this, as soon as you turn the ignition key in a car and drive it off the lot, it starts depreciating. So one of the things that I learned from my father a long time ago is to buy a good quality car that you're not going to have to buy one every 3 to 4 years. As a direct result, I only drive certain cars, right? And I don't buy brand new cars. I stopped doing that. I think I bought one brand new car in my lifetime. because I understand that they depreciate so much. I wait until they're a year or two old, and then I get that model of a car. We have to learn how to buy responsibly. Just because we have the money doesn't mean that we need to spend it. The money that we have could be put into other things. The money's burning a hole in your pocket, take it and give it to somebody who could use it. Take it and invest in someone's business, right? I think of Coco Guerra when she was trying to get her lipstick business out, and she just needed a little bit more, and I was like, how much is it? And I helped her to get her lipstick business out and going. Coco has now moved on. She's in California knocking the thing out the park. If you can help somebody, instead of putting it on your feet and putting it on your back and spending $1,200 for a t-shirt or spending $17,000 for a pocketbook, dear God up in heaven, if you are not making $17,000 a month at the very least, you should not own. Well, let me just do what you want to do with your money. But don't complain to me, okay? Think about ways that we can invest in what we want to do to get where we need to go to. Anyway, retail business owner Benediction studied fashion design in high school, then started a unique clothing brand in Philadelphia called Benediction 7, Blessing and Completion. I cannot wait to talk to Benediction. Though Benediction has been in business for a short period, her clothing line have not only been a blessing to the Islamic community, but to anyone who have had the opportunity to be in her presence, whether purchasing custom-made and comfortable, quality, unique, modish style clothing for both men and women, along with accessories and jewelry, or to discuss the business of fashion design. Benediction is a seamstress by nature in her own right, as she does everything from beginning to end. And to pay it forward, 7% of the sales are donated to a charity every single month. Benediction, welcome to The Source.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Hello, I'm so excited to talk to you.
Yes.
All right. So tell me about Benediction 7. How did it come about?
Benediction 7 came about in 2016. I was just in a stage of just always working and just trying to figure out exactly like what I want to do. I went to school for fashion. I went to high school for fashion, Merle Dobbins High School in North Philadelphia. But I was just working at a hair salon, just making ends meet. But I felt like I was just working, but I wasn't in my passion. So one day I'm sitting in the car with a male friend of mine, and I'm just seeing how he works, and he's so driven. And I just was talking to him. I'm like, I gotta find something that works for me. So he was like, well, you just gotta do what you love, like do what you love. So every day you wake up, you feel like you just in your field, you just doing what you love. It won't even feel like you're working. So as soon as he said that, it clicked, and literally in a day, everything, God poured everything in me in that moment. Literally, I got the name. I thought of everything within 30 minutes in the car, sitting in the car. And that was in 2016. So what I did was I went to school for fashion, so I always sketched. In high school, I sketched up a bunch of overgarments for the sisters because I'm like, you know what? And I wasn't Muslim. And I'm like, I want to have some stylish gear for the sisters. So I was literally maybe about 16 or 17 when I sketched like a good 7 overgarments, sketched them, and I dated it. And I just was like, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm going to be a fashion designer one day. And I knew it because I always had the passion for fashion. Even in school, I would get like best dressed. Clothes was always a way that I can express myself. So once it poured on me in 2016, I didn't have the funds though. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep it alive in my mind. So I kept it alive in my mind every day. Like I had $1 bill in my pocket. The day that it came into my mind, I had $1 bill in my pocket, and I put $1 million on it. I said, okay, I have to see it. Even though I don't have the funds to create it right now, I'm going to visualize it. I'm going to think about it. So I took that $100 and I got me a black marker and I put some zeros behind it. I said, okay, and I printed out a piece of paper. I drew the logo up and everything that day. It was like when I tell you God, he has a way of working because he poured it all to me that day. I didn't know nothing about this the day prior to that, to him putting it in my mind. So I just put everything up on my wall and I literally thought about it every day. I looked at it every day from 2016 to now. So you see it took some time for it to bloom. I actually launched it in June 7th of this year. But it actually started in 2016. But I just was going through the ups and downs of life, finances, just trying to get it right. I'll save up money, then I'll spend it. So it was just like an uphill battle. But what I did do is I kept it alive. So every day or like every couple months, I'll do small pieces. Like I'll do my LLC. I'll do my website. I had my website for literally 4 years. Nobody knew though, but I was paying on it. It was $17.99. It was $17.99. I paid on that website for 4 years.
Come on. Yes.
I got the business. I got my business account. I had that for 4 years. I did little small stuff because people don't understand that. With some small steps, if you just continue to take small steps, it'll become something major because once you put all those pieces together, you'll have it. So some people think that, it's just going to happen overnight. No, you have to take baby steps with your business and just never, ever give up. Ever give up.
Benediction, you just confirmed everything I've been telling them on the show today. You just came on here and confirmed it all. Hold on 1 second. Let me take a quick break, and then I will be right back with you, okay?
Okay, talk to you.
All right, hold on. Want to buy black for the holidays? We have got you covered. WURD Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wurdradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wurdradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
At PICO, we know one thing is certain. Times have changed. From kitchen classrooms to couch conference calls, searching for a new job, or new ways to keep your family connected. These changes have become a part of our reality. That's why our teams are working 24/7 to meet the needs of our communities. So no matter how much things change, you can depend on PICO to be there with the energy and help you need to power through. Learn more at pico.com.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDRadio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I cannot believe how the show is just so aligned today. If you were just joining us, I have on the line with me Benediction. She's a real retail business owner who began in 2016 trying to figure out what her passion was and watched a friend of hers who was driven and doing what he loved, and she decided to start her own thing. 4 years later, she opened up on June 7th of 2020. But she spoke something that I literally was talking about the entire show, that you start to do it in bits and pieces. She got her website. Benediction, you and I bought our domain names at the same time in 2016. I was at a conference with Lisa Nichols, stood in line, and I was like, what should I name the domain? And the Diva daughters were like, do this and do this. So I bought the domains. I bought every .com, .org, whatever of these two names that I wanted to have, and then began slowly, just the way you said it, began, doing things a different way because I was shifting from one business entity to another. So you did exactly the right things, and you kept the vision in your head, and you put the stuff up on the board, so you can see it in front of you. Let me tell you something else that I also do, Benediction. When I step down my steps to walk out my door, sitting right on my front door before I walk out the door are all my goals and visions and plans for the next 5 to 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Right? So on my way out the door, I have no choice but to see the goals and visions and plans every single day. And even if I am not going out the door, when I walk down the steps, I have no choice but to see those papers on the wall. We have to create our own vision and stay motivated for the things that we want to do. It makes sense, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely
right.
Makes sense.
So I am super proud of you that you actually went from thinking about it and taking baby steps. And you're right, life happens. Sometimes you got to spend, sometimes, things go, you have to help this one, you got to help that one. But if you stay focused, things will find their way to you in the end. So tell me now about Benediction 7, right? What does the merchandise look like? Wait a minute, the website is here. So I'm going to go on the website while I'm talking to you. How about that? Oh, you better come on with it, girl. Yes, I love the logo.
Honestly, I'm telling everybody, I didn't come from a wealthy family. I didn't have money saved. Literally, I've done everything working a regular job, and I didn't even have a full-time job. Working a regular job, I do literally everything on my own, from mailing to making a postcard to going on Instagram, promoting. I actually go to the fabric store, pick out the material. I sketch up the designs. You do not need a team behind you. Now, it's great to build a team eventually, but you do not need a team to start your business. Just you and your Lord. That's it. If you got those two, you can make it. Trust me, because I literally, to this day, I still do everything by myself. And I want to give everybody a quick story because I don't want people to think that it's roses and butterflies. No.
Right.
Literally, when I started Benediction 7, I told you I started in 2016. I thought about it. But what made me actually launch it June 17th, I came out of a divorce. I was married. I was pregnant and married. I came out of a divorce. I went through a lot through that with that marriage and just being pregnant and hormonal. And when I got the divorce, it was like I'm thankful for it though. Like to this day, I'm thankful for it. I'm so thankful because without that, that was the fire that I needed behind me. That gave me my motivation because I was such at a low place that I didn't like where I was at because I was never that type. I'm a very positive woman. So being in that low place, all that pain that I felt in that marriage and literally my baby is just 1 year old. So I'm doing all of this with a little baby. With all that pain that I felt, I turned into passion, and I was thankful for all my trials and tribulations because I truly understand that everything that God put you through at that moment is what you're supposed to go through because it's for a greater good.
Yes.
You know, so without that marriage, without going through everything, I honestly don't. I feel like I would have kept pushing it off. You know, and they say before at the end of that tunnel is always a rainbow. And you might got to go through a storm, but after that storm, it's definitely going to be a rainbow. So most times for the women and the men that's listening today, understand that if it's hard, trust me, it's a beautiful story behind it in the end. Get through it. Go through it to get to it. I always tell people, go through it.
Come on. And trials only make you stronger. The wealthiest people on earth really have gone through some things. You know, there are a few people who, you can tell the ones who have just been handed generational wealth, who have never had to work through anything because they handle things differently, right? But when you have to go through something, there's something about just going through to get through that when you get over to that other side, it makes you appreciate fully where you are, right?
Yes.
And it makes you work harder.
What you went through. Yes, and it also makes you appreciate what you've been through. And it's like you know you're about to hit your breakthrough because you hit rock bottom. You hit a place where you never thought that like you could be. And that's when you know, okay, something you got to think. And it's always about what you put into your mind is what will bloom. You have to understand, okay, I'm going through this because it's a greater good after this. And pour that pain, pour it into passion. Do what you love because you'll have something pushing you behind it. You know, and that's what it was to me, and that's why I'm so thankful for the divorce. I'm thankful for everything I went through with my daughter's father. No bad words for him. You know, he's excellent. He's a good guy, but I'm so thankful for him. And at the time, I was going through it, and I was hormonal. So, you know, you're just a woman, you know, woman, us being pregnant, we hormonal. But once I had my daughter and I thought about it, I said, I'm so thankful for everything I went through. I'm so thankful because without him, I think that I would have still probably been pushing it off and just keep, you know, but after that low place that I was at, I said, you know, I'm never coming back to this low place again. Never. Never. So, you know, and honestly, Benediction 7 has been so good. Like the support from the people, from the community, it's just been, and I was scared.
Your stuff is selling out.
Listen, I was scared. I was scared because I'm such a positive woman that I was scared of people like negativity, what people was going to say. You know, then, you know, geared towards Islamic. I'm an Islamic sister, alhamdulillah. So I'm just like, I was just scared because I'm a girl that's always been in her shell. So I was scared to present myself to the world to give them the opportunity to critique me. But I had to think, like, you know, this come with it. So I had to build myself up for it, and I'm so thankful. Benediction 7 has truly been a blessing to myself and to people. Like, literally, I take my funds every month. Sometimes I can miss a month, but I'll double up. But, like, I'll give it back to charity. I'll give it back to kids that's in need. Like, I'm always, and that's the meaning behind it. The meaning of benediction is blessing. So I want to bless the world, and I want people to feel good in my clothes, and I want them to know that with every item that you guys are purchasing from me, it's going to a good cause. So you don't even understand that what you're doing is you're buying yourself something that you're going to love, and you're also donating to children, to homeless. Like, you know, so it's bigger than just that item that you're buying. I'm trying to give and bless in every way that I can.
Yeah. So let me share something with you. I love your website, and let me tell you why. It is clean, and it jumps right out at you. I also love your logo. My
No, thank
Lord.
you.
That,
Thank you.
this
And I sketched
logo
it
is hot
myself.
to death.
Yep, I sketched it myself.
And you did that yourself.
I did the logo myself. I just actually got somebody to this girl named Sierra. She's from Philly. She's very talented. She actually put it on a computer for me, but I actually drew it up myself and I sent it to her, and she just put it on a computer for me.
So someone just texted me and said you must visit her salon and take a peek at her unbelievable sketchbook of designs. Amazing. So folks
Yes.
know who you are. Wow. One of the guests on the Facebook Live said something that made such good sense. Joseph Simmons, he said, simple solutions for both new businesses. Buy a building, get a mortgage on a building. The first floor of your building would be the business, right? The second floor is residential. You make money 24 hours per day. So as you start to grow, right, even in the middle of this virus, you're doing well even in the middle of this virus. It just goes to show, right? You can do well no matter what is going on. Start banking those bucks and look for a building that you can buy for little and nothing and start fixing it up to retrofit it for a shop downstairs and to have apartments upstairs. You live in one and rent out, and so the building is always making money for you, right?
Right.
The other thing he said was, Mother, tell all the business owners to connect with the school district for interns ASAP and the Moore College of Art and Design. They're always looking to get the interns out to places like yours to help them move forward. So you can get interns where you won't have to pay any money for certain things, right? Interns will sew, will help you with your designs, that kind of stuff.
Wow. I would love more information on it. I would love more information on it.
Yeah. So check around. Check around and see where you can find interns to help you create because they have to do a certain amount of internships in just about every college, right? So if you need an intern for accounting, if you need an intern for public relations, there are colleges everywhere that are looking for interns. In fact, when I began all them many years ago, interns were who I used when I couldn't afford to pay somebody to do the work.
That's where I'm at right now. I'm so thankful to even have the opportunity to talk because literally I'm doing everything in marketing. I'm still trying to learn how to market. I'm really in the nitty gritty of just learning how to do everything, and I'm doing literally everything by myself. So when I had the opportunity to even speak today, I just thank God so much because it just was like, this is major for me. Like, this is actually like my first public speaking. So I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful.
Well, you're doing well, Benediction. And remember now, so write down on your sheet of paper, intern. So you and I you can get an intern to answer your phone, an intern to respond to your emails, an intern to update your website. There are interns all over the place that need these opportunities so they can get college credits or high school credits or whatever there is. So just write that down and put that out into the universe and say, look, I need interns. And those interns will pop up. And when they see your website, man, they're going to be like, yes, I want to work for her. Right?
Yes.
Hold on 1 second, Benediction. Let me see. Put him on the line for me, please, Michael. George, do you have something in reference to this young lady that's on the line with me now?
Yes, first of all, what she's doing is great. But what I mainly called you for is to tell you that your show is about one of the hottest shows in the country, especially in Fulton, Georgia. That's what my grandson is in Fulton, Georgia. He's the regional manager for T-Mobile. And they always put the app in, because he lived up here a while. He went to Penn and he went to Wharton. So he says yesterday was one of the hottest shows.
Yeah, yesterday's show was hot.
He said that the funny thing about it, the population where he stays is mostly white. And most of the people listen to the apps and buy the phones in the counties and everything. And so he said they all listen. They was like, what are they doing in Philly? It was really something. I didn't pay too much attention to it until he kept calling me and say, Pop, you got to listen to this. I said, how am I going to listen? And he say, believe me, he didn't even know that was me on there or Maurice or whatever. He just said, y'all got some real interesting characters up there. He said, everybody down here talks about it because people down there mingle together. They're more sociable than people here in the city are, They all
So let me ask you this, George. Do you have any advice for this amazing young lady who just started this clothing line in Philly?
Well, the good thing is here in Philly is that you get a lot of vending space. You get a chance to market yourself. Always, whatever you see everybody else doing, you try not to do. You try to distinguish yourself of being a little bit different from where they are, and just stay pleasant, stay positive and pleasant, and you're going to make money. I mean, they're going to buy your clothes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You know, and you know when you find those there who don't like, and they don't like, you can't make people like something that they don't like. You know, just don't waste your time on them. You know.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for the good advice for her, George. It's always a pleasure.
If she's 1/16 of what I'm hearing, then she won't have a problem, you know, just growing and growing and growing. It might be a little hard in the beginning, but just listen. That's all you got to do. Take people's advice. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. You have to be the person who sorts that out and think it through, and you'll be very successful. You know, some things come to people overnight, and some things don't, you know, but you get no more than you put in. If you put the work in, then you're going to get the work out. But if you put
thank you,
in,
George.
You're going to get a garbage product. You just keep doing what you're doing, dear, and you will succeed.
Oh, thank you, George. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you so much.
We'll do. Have a good
All
one.
right. Bye, George. So listen,
Bye-bye.
you can go to the website at www.benediction7. Wait, is this the Benediction 7?
Yes.
That's what that says, right? Benediction7.com. And the contact information is 267-255-4713. What advice do you have for anyone? You just shared a great story about being at rock bottom, going through a divorce, being pregnant, and you just kept the vision in front of you. What advice that your friend gave you advice that day in 2016? What advice now do you have for anyone who is thinking of going into business but are afraid because they don't have the first penny to rub together to get it started?
My advice to you guys is to keep it alive in your mind. It first starts with your mental. You have to be ready to receive everything that you want. So it starts with your mental first. You keep it alive in your mind. Tell yourself every day, remind yourself, because sometimes you don't have the resource or the funds. Keep it alive in your mind first. And then once you do that, it'll always be there. Don't never let it die. I don't care if it takes years and years for it to happen. As long as you keep it alive in your mind, it's always growing. The moment you stop thinking about whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, it dies. So that's my advice. You don't need money. You don't need it, because one thing about what you put out into the universe is what you receive back. So keep it alive. Always keep it alive, and then do small baby steps. Little, because I'm telling the baby steps, they add up and it becomes something major. So just start with your mind frame. You have to have a positive mindset. You have to believe in yourself. Don't let nobody discourage you. Believe in yourself first. Keep it alive, and then do baby steps, and you'll take off.
Benediction, can I ask you a question? How old are you?
I'm 31.
Love the young people. Mother loves the young. You all just give me such hope and joy in my soul, I'm trying to tell you.
Thank you. I'm truly blessed. Alhamdulillah.
Well, after you get off the show today, honey, because the people already done put up the website on the social media page. Look forward to folks supporting. Yeah, you're going to be all right. Your heart and your spirit is in the right place. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Beyond the hard work, you have to have a spirit and a love of people. Love yourself first, then make sure you're always loving on people and treating them well, and you are going to do very, very well. You're going to continue to do well. It was such a pleasure talking to you. Let me tell the people. Oh, you're quite welcome, honey. Let me just tell the folks one more time. www.benediction7.com, and to contact her, 267-255-4713. Thank you so much for being on here, man. Have a good one, okay?
You too, Mwah. Take care. Have a good day.
Mwah. Bye, sweetie. Bye-bye. I love young people. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
With Internet Essentials from Comcast for only $9.95 a month, you get more. High-speed home internet service included. Peace of mind with X-Fi Advanced Security included. Access to millions of X-Fi Wi-Fi hotspots, that's included too. Internet Essentials from Comcast brings you affordable, high-speed internet to your home for only $9.95 a month. When you're connected, you're ready for anything. Visit InternetEssentials.com for more information. Taxes extra. Restrictions apply.
Listen to Laborers Live.
We created the weekend. We created the 40-hour work week. We just want enough to feed our family, be able to send our children to college, and let our next generation do better than we did.
To people that might have forgot how important unionism is in a country like the United States. People now infringing on our 8-hour workday, trying to work people more than 8 hours without overtime, trying to work people without benefits. In the long run, everybody's getting a fat paycheck except the worker. So this is really a wake-up call for America.
The struggle is continuous. Tune in to Laborers Live every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Sponsored by LESIT, the Laborers Employers Cooperation Education Trust of the Laborers District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity.
Local 332, Sam Staten Jr. Business Manager. Local 57, Esteban Vera Business Manager. Local 135, Dan Woodall Jr. Business Manager. Local 413, James Harper Jr. Business Manager. The Laborers District Council, Ryan Boyer Business Manager, and Tony Staten, Executive Director of LESIT.
WURD Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation as we continue to navigate the pandemic together.
Hi, this is Halana, your resident health and wellness coach, with tips to help you stay well. By definition, inspiration is something that gives us new and creative ideas. We often believe that we only need inspiration when we have a goal or a project in mind. However, getting inspired can be easy with a little practice. Try this. Number 1, write down exactly what you truly desire in your life. Number 2, think about solutions to hurdles and challenges you face. Number 3, think about the next best step in your current situation. Staying inspired requires thought, intention, and space to be creative. In fact, allowing inspiration to be present in our lives is something we can practice every day. Go ahead and try. Stay well with WURD. Happy living.
Stay well with WURD. Connect with us at wordradio.com.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDRadio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Oh, the conversation, the chatter on the Facebook page. Elizabeth Williams, I'm responding to you. Marla Campbell put the website on. It's www.benediction7.com. She carries clothing for Muslim groups of people and regular clothing too. But the website is fire. I mean, just clean and elegant and just well done. I'm so impressed by these young people. She began with a thought in her head in 2016. She wanted to be able to do what she loved, and she just struggled, you know. And so she figured it out once she went through a divorce, and Benediction 7 launched on June 17th of 2020, smack dab in the middle of a pandemic, honey. She's going to be able to talk about this years from now. But I do believe, because her heart is in the right place, that she will find her joy and her space to continue thriving and growing. This last segment of the show, you know, let me say this. I don't get to do it very often because I'm always running, and because I work so hard at what I do, I put a lot of pressure on my content producer and my technical producer. I'm constantly saying to them, I need this done, I need that done, can we get, because I don't like waiting for last minute to do anything, and they have risen to the occasion like cream. I am a type A personality who just doesn't believe in sitting in a chair and opening up my mouth and letting words spew out. I'm very intent, very concentrated on what is it that I am saying, very focused on what it is that I am bringing forward to the people, and very cognizant of the fact that folks are listening to my words every day, so I have to be responsible with them. And so a great big thank you to Brianna Brown, who is my content producer. I send people to her all the time. Folks inbox me, Mother, I'd like to get on your show. Mother, go on over to Brianna Brown. Some folks, well, no, I don't want, no, you can't, please. I cannot talk to you and do all of this stuff too. Talk to Brianna. She'll put you in a spot on the show, and she's been really good at this and making sure these things happen. And then Michael and I, you know, when the show starts, we are going at it. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1212. And we're running a live show, so things can and will happen, and we just make it work, right? So thank you, Michael and Brianna. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all that you've done all the time. Just so that you guys are aware, the last week in December, I'm taking off. I will be off the air the last week in December, just so I can take a break. My husband's birthday is on Christmas Day, and my birthday is shortly thereafter. 2 Capricorns living in the house. I'm trying to tell you, a situation. So let me just move on. Oh, wait a minute. Horace from West Philly. How are you? Almost missed you.
Hey, okay, and yourself?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. What can I do for you, sir?
Well, I'm just checking back in. You told me to call back. I know you received what I sent you.
Yeah, Horace, let me just tell you something. Wait a minute, Horace. Mother's going right on over to, okay, hold on, Horace. I read your stuff and diggity dang almost fell out my seat. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just pull it up because you were so wonderful about this. So schools with 0% achievement after 2 report periods, 2017 to 2018, 2018 to 2019, right? And they named the schools. Kensington Kappa, 1% achievement. Kensington High School, 0% achievement. Fells, 1% achievement. Roxborough, 0% achievement. Bartram, 0% achievement. South Philadelphia, 1% achievement and 0% achievement. Oh my God. Franklin, 0% and 0%, both those years, right? 2017 to 2000. This is so insane. Martin Luther King, 0% achievement, 0%. Am I missing something? Edison, 0% achievement. Horace, how in the world were we able to get to this place?
Hey, ask the superintendent. You know, the Board of Ed has finally come up with a 5-year plan to really hold the school district accountable. But the only problem I have with the 5-year plan is they're starting out with the K to 3. They should start out with the high schools. You know, this list I gave you represents 14,000 students. You know, so we have a graduating class of these 24 schools, and you see they're coming out with 0%. Just to give a quick plug, me and my wife, Mama Gill, are on Brother Samari's show every Friday at 3 o'clock talking about no more 0%. So to continue, you know, let's bring up Kensington Cap. It's just the one school I want to talk about, example, get it over with, and that'll be it. You know, here the students are I guess, demonstrating, doing a demonstration or a log out because they can't adapt to the Zoom or the virtual learning. But here, you know, going in this school at 9th grade, they had 1%. Talking about this graduating class now, 10th grade, 1%, you know, and so forth and so on, 0%, 11%, and now virtual. Just to give you some more background, this school was just built in 2010. So this is not one of those so-called, I hate to use the word toxic schools that all of a sudden gets thrown into the conversation. It's not one of those. It's a fairly new school that has all the bells and whistles, period. But here you look at the teacher's attendance. You know, here we have what they call a chief of academic support person. Even though the superintendent made a statement in his 9 years, he spent minimal time working on student achievement, but yet he had and has a chief of academic support person who was at every student achievement meeting and getting the board to vote yes on everything that's coming down the pike to help improve student achievement. And, you know, this is just the 24 schools that have 0%, your high schools. But
let me ask you this question, because Michael asked it. What's the 0% based off of standardized tests or student subject grades? I would think it's a standardized test, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And the page description explains exactly what it is.
Yes. And what I'm noticing, too, from one year to the next, so the 2017-2018 school year, many of those teachers did not have observations. 0%. They went to 100% at that point. But I'm looking at, like, Gideon, K to 8. Teacher attendance is 39%. Still, K to 8. Teacher attendance is 40%. So how do we expect the students to do well? And I also had, wait a minute, I had a substitute teacher. Hold on. This is why I see you all, let me tell you something. You all got mobile. Keep talking, Horace, because I'm going to, a substitute teacher send me a message, and I'm going to read to you some of what she said. Let me find, I just got to find it. Father God, there's so much going on. It makes you nuts, right? Julie Taylor. She was asking Horace, she said, what is it the guy talking about regarding substitute teachers, Andrea? She said, I've done substitute teaching within the past 4 years in the Philadelphia School District, and I have done my best each and every time to provide a quality education to students for every teaching assignment that I've had as a substitute. And I said, I told her you'd be back on today, right? And so I said he will call again tomorrow and elaborate. She says, okay, I'll be listening for sure today to hear what else he has to say. Most people within the general public also don't realize all of the nonsense that substitute teachers have to deal with, either regarding many of the various assignments that we accept at various schools, especially if the leadership of principals isn't that strong. There have been many times when I have arrived at assignments and there haven't been any lesson plans or handouts, etc., provided by permanent classroom teachers during their absence, which is one of the many reasons why substitute teaching is usually a very difficult job. And that's an understatement, especially regarding serious behavioral issues as well, that many times substitute teachers have to deal with. I have been verbally and physically assaulted on more than one occasion over the years by students. A teacher, Linda Keels wrote, or when you leave the work and admin fails to get it to you to teach the children, we all have to have a minimum of 3-day plans. So there's a lot of stuff missing in the gap, right? Linda says, Mr. Horace, that she says she could not listen as she was actively teaching, but is it possible that as a researcher, some facts come into play regarding teacher and faculty absences? First, the school absences include all of those not present for the welfare of teaching children. So please add paraprofessionals, nursing, counselors, and secretarial to that when calling out absences. Secondly, absences include not just those who do not care, but the maternity leave, FMLA, to care for elders, children, and self. Those who, like I, was stuck at home for 6 months due to a severe bone break and 3 surgeries on my foot, who I was willing to go on with a boot as one would for any other job, but due to insurance reasons was told by the school district doctor that unless I came in with 2 tied shoes or boots, I had to stay out even though my physician said I could work. The data show only absences and no more. It does not show the teacher who is on sabbatical for health or out on permanent disability facing death, for they are all just absent. It does not show that a sub or long-term teaching just as the appointed person is absent. As a union rep, there are those who are new first year and do not have a real mentor to point out that school books and student teaching techniques do not apply when it's just you alone. Ooh, there's just she wrote a whole handful here. What do you say to all of this? It just seems to be this. Ooh.
Well, if I may, here we go. They proved the argument of a dysfunctional classroom. At the end of the day, the achievement level is 0%. You know, we're talking 0 to 100. You know, 0%. When we got the data on teachers' attendance, it's page 6 of the SPR, and it just says teachers' attendance. It doesn't say support staff or support teachers. You know, I understand people have reasons for taking days off or out sick and everything, but whose responsibility is it to put a qualified person / adult in that classroom? You know, you're going to always jump over the teacher and blame the student and then blame the parent. You know, hey, like here I say again, $42,000 to $73,000, and guess what? Those who are hurt and injured, $49,000 in benefits. And then plus you're going to add the cost of the substitute teacher on top of all of this. You know, my thing is this. Every student right now needs to be tested. Every high school student needs to be tested so they can find out what grade level they're on. Because what's so disheartening is you have a high school graduate go to apply for a job training, take an admissions test, and then somebody comes back and says, I'm sorry, you only got a 4th grade education. You know, I mean, come on. I mean, come on.
Horace, Horace, here. Horace, let me say this to you. Go back and email me again. I have another show tomorrow. I'm going to put you on my show to discuss this. We're going to talk about what's going on in the Philadelphia School District, right? That show runs from 12 to 1 p.m. I have to get off the air now because Evening Words is coming on. But email me again, and I will send you the Zoom link for us to have this discussion tomorrow at full length, okay?
Thank you. No problem.
Oh, you're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. Thank you all so much for joining another episode of The Source. Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro is up next. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.